It's the Nike Kickoff Classic. Congratulations to the young ladies, the Wolverines from South Anchorage, Alaska, 13-0 winners. Nevaeh Hartwell had a touchdown. She had a couple of picks. That trophy, watch out, Nevaeh, is kind of heavy. They beat an undefeated team from New Orleans. And now, time for the doubleheader of the boys football game. The legendary program, Massillon, the Tigers, are coming out of the locker room to face NFL Academy, the third annual Kickoff Classic here on the Nike campus in Beaverton, Oregon. We're happy you're here with us. That is Yogi Roth. My name is Andrew Siciliano. Down on the sideline, Taylor Davis will join us shortly. Yogi, this is kind of like a movie. In one corner, one of the most storied high school programs in America. Quintessential small town USA, the second most winningest program in the United States. In the other corner, what a story. NFL Academy, players from 12 different countries and territories try to live the American dream.
It is amazing. When you think about the NFL Academy, they started this program in 2019. The other team on the other sideline, 1891. That is a massive difference. But for the fellas from the Academy, some of them, this is their first year ever playing tackle football. Last week they had a game, first time some ever put a helmet on and had to hit the pads in a real game, and they have something to prove because they want a Scully. They know this is a huge stage and a massive opportunity.
And a massive opportunity if they can beat one of the most storied programs that we have in the United States. 25 state championships, including one last year.
Yeah, oh, by the way, one last year. And 23 players have gone on to the NFL. The standard is really high. When you look at that facility, when you look at that program, when you get into that community, football drives the bus. This is the language. They got a viewing of the game in their home stadium in Massillon. They got about 700 fans here tonight. The standard is legit under their head coach entering his 10th season. How do they deal with this team from across the pond?
When Nate Moore's team is at home, they play in front of 17,000 people. 17,000. He's walking to the footsteps of the legendary Paul Brown, facing a team from the UK made up of players from all over the globe. The second half of our doubleheader, NFL Academy and the Massillon Tigers, the NFL Kickoff Classic from Beaverton, Oregon, coming up next. What a cool venue, what a cool setup, what a cool story here as NFL Academy has come all the way from 2 hours north of London to play Massillon High School. I mentioned the third member of our broadcast team here in Beaverton, Oregon. Let's say good afternoon yet again to Taylor Davis down to the sideline.
Well, if you ask any of the NFL Academy's student athletes what their goal is, they'll all tell you without hesitation, it's a scholarship opportunity to play college football here in the States. And head coach Steve Hagan is committed to doing anything he can to help them attain that goal. This past summer, he actually brought some of their athletes to North Carolina and Virginia for a 2-week tour of 12 universities, exposing them to the world of college football as we know it here in America. But as they'll tell you, the only way we'll gain respect as a program is to play the best American teams. And guys, what better setting to do it than here at the Nike World Headquarters?
Yeah, and what a tour that was, Taylor. A couple of months ago, all these kids, Yogi, trying to get scholarships up and down the East Coast. Mentioned North Carolina. That's where Steve Hagan used to coach. 2 different stops there with the Tar Heels.
You talk to any coach in the NFL or college and they learn about this academy, they're enthralled by it because they're going to be developed by that man and his staff right there. They have kicked out players to college football. I only think the game is only growing, not just flag as we talked about earlier, but tackle football. Over 70 countries play this sport, and 19 countries and territories are on this roster, 12 here today.
So cool. What an event this is. Really, these last 3 days, and what a game we have to culminate the third annual Nike Kickoff Classic. Nolan Hendricks is going to kick off here for the Massillon Tigers, defending state champions from Ohio, their 25th championship a year ago, and it's Eustace Seelig who had a huge game a week ago against another American team, a team from Florida, a team called Edgewater High School, and Seelig, Yogi, we saw right there, was almost impossible to take down last week.
And he is mission-minded, as is this team. They know what they're going against. They know the reputation, but they know the statement they can make coming off what was a heartbreaking game a week ago.
Eustace Seelig, again, the kid's pretty amazing, from Germany, but born in Boulder, Colorado. This quarterback was impressive last week as well. He's a senior from Austria, Mikey Zabo.
He can play from the pocket. He can sprint out. We asked him yesterday, where do you feel most comfortable? He goes, it doesn't matter. I just want to find my rhythm in this game.
If you're keeping an eye on another weapon here, talk to the Massillon head coach Nate Moore. Keep an eye on 14 at the bottom of your screen, to the right of the screen. That's Moose Okuwande, who got into the end zone multiple times a week ago. Here's Zabo on first down. Pump fake to the left. He wants Okuwande. He's now chased out of the pocket, and he is going to have to scramble and maybe get back to the line of scrimmage on the right side of the field. Joseph Russell Carter in the backfield there with the pressure.
You know, it's really interesting when you talk about these two teams, right? You're looking at one in Massillon. These players have been playing since they were 6 years old, dreaming of playing for this school. Look at everybody on the academy side, and it's a mix. Some played club sport in their home country. Some just started playing 6 months ago.
Yeah, and some started playing a week ago. Yeah. The kids who started playing 6 months ago, many of them played their very first game ball on the ground, but it's going to be picked up there. At the end around there, the sophomore Jamil Seka, and it's going to be 3rd and long. Some of these guys, Yogi, put on a helmet and got hit for the very first time a week ago facing Edgewater.
Yeah, the good thing for them, they bounced right back up. But they're going to see an aggressive team today from Massillon, especially here on the 3rd down. They're going to have to get the ball out. This offensive front is going to have to communicate throughout this ball game.
And the O-line to the D-line here, certainly a concern for NFL Academy. Loss of 5, they're 3rd and 17. They don't huddle, they never huddle. Here is Seelig out of the backfield. And Seelig has nowhere to go. The Massillon defense does the job here early on.
Nice job there from the corner. Damari Clemens got a bunch of offers. Everybody's watching this team. They know the type of guy they're getting. It's a lunch pail type of outfit. It's the Steel City. They take pride in who they are, where they come from. A nice start to their 2024 campaign.
As Coach told us, we're a steel town without a steel mill. Bobby Bridges, the backup quarterback with the punt. Ackerack is going to let that bounce and roll to the 40-yard line. We are just underway. No score early on. Nate Moore's Massillon Tigers with quarterback Jalen Slaughter about to take the field. Coming up next. So NFL Academy goes backwards on its opening drive as we welcome you back to the Kickoff Classic. Massillon, Yogi, has a whole lot of fans that made the trip from Stark County, Ohio. Coach Moore suggested they might have 500-600 fans who made the trip.
Yeah, think Varsity Blues, think Friday Night Lights, and think Nate Moore in his 10th season here This is a guy who's had success everywhere he has gone. When he got the call a decade ago, he said, yeah, this is an unbelievable opportunity. He loves leading the standard, and as he says, coaching the kid, not the player, developing young men.
As mentioned, walking in the footsteps of one Paul Brown. There's Deontay Moore on the little jet sweep, and Moore has good room across the 50-yard line. That is a first out of the very first play of the game for Deontay Malone, to beg your pardon, the wide receiver here for Massillon.
Nice Arthur. Physical on the perimeter. They're going to have the ball in a lot of people's hands this afternoon into the evening. It all starts with Jalen Slaughter, the quarterback. This is a guy who's a passer. He understands this system. Most importantly, he's dealt with adversity in his career.
The lefty slings it to the left, and Tolles has that one. Braylon Tolles, one of the top wide receivers for Nate Moore. And by the time he is done, he could break every Massillon major wide receiver record. He had 46 catches a year ago and 8 touchdowns. And Slaughter is a really good story. Listen, he lost his job last year. DeJuan Owens came in. He was a runner and a thrower. Slaughter now in his senior season back in the starting job, but he has a long resume of winning with this program. First carry today for Jameer Gamble, the running back who is back for his senior season. Ran for nearly 950 yards a year ago.
Pretty talented, and I love what Coach Nate Moore said about Jalen Slaughter. This is a guy who, when he did lose his job, as you referenced, he just went back to work, knew his opportunity would come, and now he's got it in his final year in high school leading this program.
And Gamble gets the first down near the 35. The throw, Tolles with the catch, little screen, working towards the middle of the field, and Tolles is near the 30-yard line for a gain of around 7 on first down.
Left guard Mikey Looney, you'll see him to the right of your screen. See him just throw the defensive lineman. You want to do that on a screen. Just let them rush. Think they're getting into the backfield. Throws them to the side. Allows the team to get some positive yardage on that inside screen.
Looney, a 3-year starter there, playing left guard as they come out in the pistol with Gamble back behind him. And that one's dropped by Tolles, who had the first one but dropped his second opportunity. He and Slaughter certainly have some chemistry, even though Slaughter wasn't the quarterback last year. Tolles caught a touchdown, the game-winning touchdown that Slaughter threw back 2 years ago to beat top-ranked St. Edward. So, listen, they've been playing together. They're back playing together again with Slaughter as the starting quarterback. He certainly played some last year. It wasn't all Owens, but here they could not connect. So it's 3rd and 3 with Gamble in the backfield, and they will hand it to him. Gamble throws it back. We got the trick play. We got the throw inside the 10-yard line, and a catch. Tolles has it as the 6. Slaughter to Tolles at a first down, and they're in the red zone.
They line up in the very same formation as the previous play. Looks like it's outside zone. Throw back, and how about across the body? Chance for this one getting picked off, takes the gamble. That's a confident throw from Jalen Slaughter to Braylon Tolles.
I like what you did there. Takes the gamble after the hand to Gamble. You see what you did there? I like it. Peyton Mitchell, now 32, checks into the game at running back. And they blow it dead. So just underway, no score. Opening possession here for Massillon after forcing a 3-and-out from NFL Academy.
Dead ball, encroachment, defense. Half distance to the goal, replay, first down.
Doug Phillips is our referee today, so half the distance to the goal. Opening drive here. Massillon Tigers, playing football since 1891, are in the red zone.
We got a new offensive coordinator this year in Alex Wood, but he's been coaching for 45 years, so ton of experience as they get inside the 5.
Former OC of the Arizona Cardinals, Vito O'Connell checks in tight end, hand down to the right there, wearing number 3. Throw to the end zone and incomplete, intended for number 7, the wide receiver, Jaquez Carter.
You know, I'd run the ball down here just with a little bit of misdirection. And the big challenge when you're starting to play football is eye discipline. How many times have we heard that? When you're a young player, you're early on in your football career, things are happening so fast, especially in tight areas like this. You're inside the 5. You could have a couple pullers, a little bit of motion just to slow down the eyes of that defensive front.
Carter 4 for 6 early. The hand to Gamble into the end zone. Jameer Gamble had 6 touchdowns a year ago, gets one here. And it's an early 6-0 lead for Massillon.
It's straight outside zone. I mean, it's student body right. Get that defensive line on train tracks, and away he goes for the first score of the season.
Jameer Gamble, 948 yards, had a 6.8 average a year ago. Extra point by Mateo Herrera, the sophomore. To cap off an impressive opening drive here for the Massillon Tigers, who force a 3 and out. Nate Moore then march down the field. Jameer Gamble into the end zone with a touchdown run. It's 7-0 early. The kids from Ohio have the lead over NFL Academy. The third annual Nike Kickoff Classic. As mentioned, a lot of fans made the trip from Massillon, Ohio, just west of Canton, Ohio, and the Pro Football Hall of Fame to see their team, the Massillon Tigers, who ended a 53-year drought a year ago and won a 25th state title, play here. NFL Academy. Here's Eustace Seelig, a running back from Germany on the return. He is dangerous. As mentioned, he carved up Edgewater from Florida a week ago, and he's got a great return for head coach Steve Hagan to open up NFL Academy's second drive.
We are going to talk about him a lot throughout this game. Why? A, he's talented, but B, due to some of the state rules in high school football, he can't play a lot of games this year. That's just the way that it works in European football. When you're coming over from another country, you have to abide by state regulations. So he knows he's got to empty the tank in this game to get as much performance and elite play on tape.
We were talking to Seelig yesterday. He is 19, and when De La Salle, a team from the Bay Area, Northern California, comes to town to play NFL Academy in a couple of weeks, Seelig is not going to be able to play, but he's thrilled to be here. Said his brother in Colorado is not able to make it. They're expecting a baby soon, but he is watching undoubtedly here. Eustace Seelig, who speaks better English than me, I'll be honest with you. Born in Colorado, grew up in Germany, back here trying to put on a show. Mikey Zabo throws incomplete on first down. On second down, he gives it to Seelig, and there's not a lot of room to run in the middle of that line, as that was the concern here. Massillon big up front. Kevin Elliott Jr., their 74, leading the charge.
It's the defensive line that is getting off the ball. There's got to be some pullers to slow down this defensive rush here from Massillon if you're the Academy.
And it's a loss of 2 to bring up third and long, 3rd and 11, as Seelig has had 2 pretty good kickoff returns, but right now NFL Academy, Yogi, in danger of a second consecutive 3 and out here, and they don't want to let this thing get away early.
Yeah, it's a tough situation right now if you're the Academy, because you're thinking, all right, we want to run the football, struggling doing that. You want to utilize the quick game, have missed a couple throws, and you want to try to take a shot, and do you have time to do it?
I don't know. Let's go down to the sideline. Taylor, what do you got?
Well, head coach Steve Hagan told us this week after last week's game, which, like we mentioned in the open, was some of these athletes' first time playing this game. He said the biggest thing they noticed was how fast the game was against teams like this. Down here on the sideline, they're encouraging guys sit on the bench, have adequate hydration to prepare for the speed they're seeing in Massillon.
Absolutely. Spoke to tight end Luca Wolf, who is 81 there in the left of the formation. Last week was the first time he actually got hit for real in something that was not a practice. Obviously, you're not going full speed here, tackling to the ground in practice. It was certainly a change, but he says he came through it well. Former international basketball player, and a good one, who played prep basketball in Baltimore, and now 81 there left of the screen, is back playing football at NFL Academy. This is 3rd and 11. Mikey Zabel rose out to the left and throws complete, but it's not going to be enough for a first down. The wide receiver there, number 10, Seb Harris, with the catch, and it's 4th down.
Seb Harris missed the first game. Good to see him back in this game, his 3rd year playing football, but he's lining up against a corner who's got offers in the MAC conference right now, and Lennox Lemon. So it'll be fun to watch that battle here. Number 0 at the bottom of the screen.
Bobby Bridges, the backup quarterback, back to punting away. It's going to bounce near the 30 and out of bounds on the left sideline.
Nice grab by Matt James right there on the bounce.
Matt James, Nike legend, helping to run this event. That sees Nate Moore's Massillon team lead early, 7-0 in the first. It's the NFL, the Nike Kickoff Classic here in Beaverton. You are never on the outside when you can get a look inside with my 4 friends, Tom Pelissero, Judy Batista, Mike Garofolo, and Ian Rappaport. The Insiders, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday during the upcoming NFL season, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, NFL Network, and streaming on NFL Plus. Back with Jalen Slaughter, second possession here for Massillon. He was 4 for 6, 49 yards on his opening drive. Takes a deep shot here, and this one's complete inside NFL Academy territory. It's Ricardo Wells with the explosive, and right out of the gate here, Massillon is threatening again.
Check out this drone shot. See Slaughter look all the way to his left. They flood that area. It's easy. Looks off the safety. He knew the whole time he was coming backside. Rips it firm with enough arc for an explosive play for the Tigers.
Ricardo Wells running free down the slot, gets 50 yards. And Massillon, which marched right down the field after forcing a 3-and-out on NFL Academy's first possession, is knocking on the door in the red zone yet again. They are right on the 20-yard line.
Timeout, Massillon. That's their first of the half.
And after the explosive, Nate Moore's going to have to call timeout.
This is a big stage for both of these teams. For Nate Moore and his program, he wanted to make sure that this team really was mission-minded coming on this. He said it's a business trip. We know how cool it is. You hear that a lot, but this team has been pretty business-like thus far today.
And this is one of, if you look at the big picture here, considering all things here, this is one of Massillon's most difficult schedules in recent memory. Coming off a 16-0 season, winning their first state title since they went to the playoff format, the first state title in 53 years. This is a big game here, but as you mentioned, it is a business trip, but they enjoy the national spotlight.
Yeah, as they should. And look, the best part about high school football is that it's the most fun, most enjoyable time you might have in your entire life playing this game.
Slaughter, the quick hitter. Carter on the far sideline catches that screen. It gets close to first down yardage. Let's give him 9 on first down as Massillon is in the red zone after that 50-yard bomb.
This guy just getting the ball out, picking up a little block from his partner. Malone, that's right. But think about it, man. This team plays in front of 16,000, he just said in the open. It is the conversation starter in their community. And they're coming off a state title. This is awesome.
Matty Kruger with the tackle there. Gamble with the run here. Gamble up the middle, keeping the legs turning. Gamble is in. Touchdown, Tigers, and Massillon is out to the 2-score lead early. Love the sound effects, by the way.
Watch the vision right here in that first step. See how he's square to the line of scrimmage? When you're square to the line of scrimmage and running back, you got the ability for a two-way go. He's nice and slow, patient, left foot in the ground, and then it's just that leg drive. That's that 600-pound club, that squat club. The coach was wearing a t-shirt of it. We had our production meeting. This is a team. You play for this squad, you're working out year-round, brother.
Gamble, I beg your pardon, has 3 carries. 2 of those 3 have already gone for touchdowns as Massillon has 2 on the board. 14-0, 5:44 remaining in the second quarter. You look at this backfield here. Gamble, Lennox, Mitchell. These guys combined for 1,700 yards a year ago. That doesn't even include DeJuan Owens, who was the quarterback, his 1,000 yards rushing. This was a ground and pound team last year. You have 3 returning backs that totaled 1,700 yards on the ground. That's hard to stop.
They're like the Buckeyes, man. Just physical at the line of scrimmage. I'm sure Ryan Day and Chip Kelly are watching this one right now. So proud of the style of football from this program.
And we talk about what it means back in Stark County, Ohio. This means everything. Not only the rivalry with Kent McKinley down the street here, which has been going on again since the 1890s. It started actually on the semi-pro club level, and then it moved to the high schools. This game is being broadcast on the radio back in Canton and Akron and Massillon. They have a 2.5-hour pregame show for this game. No joke. We're talking to the broadcasters before.
I think if you're a high school football player, you'd be saying, I do want your life to play for this squad.
Can you say it with a British accent here? Maybe. Talking NFL Academy. Hendricks to kick off. Zabo has had 2 big returns. Let's see if he can get a third. I beg your pardon. Seelig with the return. Not Zabo, but Seelig is going to return this past the 25-yard line. He is a one-man band, but they have yet to really get anything going offensively.
I think you got to find a way to stretch the field a little bit. This is an offense that wants to play fast. They want to play with tempo. And they think that is the way where they can kind of get respect. You know, when you play American teams from the mainland here, from the U.S., they know they got to see if they can find a way to get some chunk play, some chunk yardage, push this team a lot to be aggressive. I wouldn't be shocked if we saw a little bit of aggressive nature here in the throw game.
NFL Academy has only 8 yards on 2 possessions. Conversely, Massillon has 126 yards of offense on a touchdown. Zabo pulls it and throws incomplete to the flat. So they use this time Seelig as the misdirection piece, but Zabo cannot connect on the pass to the senior wide receiver, Faye Ransel Pinas, and it is second down.
Passes attempt for number 4, Pinas. It'll be second down and 10.
Mikey Zabo, not the biggest guy, but was able to make some plays downfield last week through some YOLO balls, and it worked.
Yeah, they go with an empty.
Under pressure. Zabo pretty shifty. He could use his legs. He's going to get back to the line of scrimmage, but not much. Maybe a yard. To bring up 3rd and long again.
Yeah, it's a struggle right now for this offensive line. They're getting beat by the front of Massillon, and there's some talented players. Like you look at number 3, Vito McConnell. He's a Miami, Ohio commit as a defensive player. He's going to be at the top of the screen, coming off the edge, playing the slot.
Jaden Daniels as well, the mic there in on the tackle as they try to set up the middle screen, and they get it. And there's the first down, NFL Academy across midfield, all the way to the 40-yard line. It's the tight end, Dominic Teets, who's getting D1 interest. And they're going to go hurry up here as they get to the 41-yard line. Zabo throws wide, and the clock stops, I beg your pardon, incomplete.
Nice job by this offense. A little bit of momentum, a little bit of excitement. You see him explosive play, get to the line of scrimmage, see if you can piggyback a good play, an explosive play, a chunk play with another one. I think by the time we get to the end of the season, as this continues to progress, that's where they'll find that efficiency. Struggled right there for the first big-time positive yardage.
After the big play to Teets, Massillon now for the first time today, backed up defensively into its own territory.
Number 0, Mr. Seelig up the middle.
Right tackle, Max when you look at these rosters, right? You see on the offensive line, it's Sweden, Finland, Hong Kong, UK, Germany. I mean, just to paint a picture of all of the countries and territories represented, it's fascinating when you study and prepare and get to meet some of the players in the academy.
Including Tietz from Germany, from Leipzig. A 29-yard catch and run for Tietz, wearing number 8. 3 tight ends out to the right of that formation. Brzabo on 3rd and 8. Hands to Seelig, cuts inside. Juice to Seelig, not a lot of room to run it. It's going to be 4th and long. Logan Allman, the linebacker, with the tackle. So from here, it would be a 56-yard field goal, so that's not going to happen. Bobby Bridges is on to punt.
Normally you'd see this team go for it, but just based on the nature of what's gone on in the first quarter of this game, trying to play a little field position.
Taylor Hackenbrack wearing number 24, a dangerous return man. The safety is going to let that short punt bounce inside the 20, and it's down on the 14-yard line. So some progress there. Tietz with the catch and run. Finally some offense on their 3rd possession. NFL Academy gets into Massillon territory, but is forced to punt.
So here's the goal now, if you're the NFL Academy, is you're trying to basically swap field position. Say, okay, we pinned you deep in your own territory. Can we get you to go 3 and out, get the ball back around midfield, give ourselves another chance at a positive drive?
I know. The snap was so bad.
Head coach Steve Hagan,
right wing over there. Maddie?
coached in the NFL, coached in college football, and now is a recruiter trying to find kids from all over the globe to come to London, and at the same time trying to get his kids recruited. It's fascinating, the job that he has here as he's working both sides of it. And on Massillon's sideline, we have Taylor. What's going on, Taylor?
Well, guys, center Andrew Brumfield is actually dealing with a hand injury. He came over here to the sideline to meet with trainers. You can see on his right hand, he already has a cast on that thumb and wrist. He now has his external 2 fingers taped. Now, as you see, he snaps with his left hand, but definitely something to keep in mind with this blocking.
A senior center, 5'9", 245. Thank you, Taylor, for that.
Is completed to number 1, Braylon Gold.
Andrew Brumfeld able to get it out there to Jalen Slaughter. We have a completion now to Braylon Tolles on the far sideline to bring up 3rd and 8. Both Massillon possessions have ended in touchdowns. Backed up here, though, and facing 3rd and long.
Exactly the situation the NFL Academy is hoping to be in. Right now, if it's me, I'm being aggressive. A little bit of pressure so you can get the ball out of Slaughter's hands.
He has Mitchell in the backfield. The lefty rolls to his right. Pressure, directing traffic, lofting it downfield once Malone, and throws incomplete. So, how about that? NFL Academy forces a 3 out, and the defense gets off the field.
Look, we talked about it in the girls' flag game to start off.
Come here,
There's Coach.
Make sure we got 11. Make sure we got 11. 2.
Let's line them up here. Make sure you get 11. Make sure you have everyone on the field, which is important for any coach, especially one here trying to teach the game as much as he is coaching the game. Jamil Seka set to return this Hackenbrack punt. Seka is going to let it bounce, and it's going to roll to the 40 with a flag down back inside the 15-yard line.
This will be interesting. I don't know if it'll be
Tigers will down it.
Neutral zone infraction. Not really sure here where they're going to net out.
Seka let it bounce. Took a good roll back behind him. Inside the 40 right now, spotted at the 39 as the officials talk it over. 2:31 remaining first quarter. Yogi Roth, Andrew Siciliano, Taylor Davis down to the sideline. Massillon from Ohio, leading the NFL Academy, coached by that man, Steve Hagan. Players from 12 countries and territories. If you include the players who did not make the trip, 19 countries and territories. Every corner of the globe, all over Europe. The centers from Hong Kong. Really, they do span the globe to look for talent and try to...
Prior to the kick, we have illegal formation on the kicking team. That foul's decline. First down.
I was saying, span the globe to try to find talent. You know, a lot of NFL fans familiar with the International Pathway Program. This is entirely different. This is a high school. It is a boarding school, and these kids are trying to get scholarships in the States to continue their education and to play American college football. That is their dream. Obviously, the NFL is a dream as well, but the next step, American college football. And if I had $1 for every time one of these young men said to us Division I as their goal, Yogi, I'd probably have a few bucks.
Yes, you would. And the guy leading that charge really is Chris Durham. He's kind of the GM de facto. He's done so many different things in this league. Played in major college football at Georgia, drafted by the Seahawks, played in the NFL for a few years, ended up playing for the Parma Panthers in Italy, so really connected to the international scene. He's based out of Paris.
Massillon, just second of the half.
Just very aware of the whole scene, and that's what's beautiful. There's so many opportunities for players to play and chase the dream.
And that trip to the United States wasn't just, hey, let's come to Beaverton, Oregon for a couple of days. Before they got to Beaverton, they drove down from Seattle after flying London to Seattle, and they met with the Seahawks. They got to go to their amazing building. For my money, Yogi, the best building in the NFL, lakefront property there in Renton, Washington. Aiden Durday is the new defensive coordinator for Mike McDonald. He's an Englishman, so to have an NFL defensive coordinator actually speak to this team with a British accent to say, hey, look, I am here. You can do this, I know meant a lot to these guys.
Oh, yeah. I mean, just continue to fulfill the aspirations they all have. I know John Schneider, the GM, spent time with them. Ivan Lewis, the head strength and conditioning coach, spent time with them, just pouring into the craft as the game continues to spread around the globe.
After they go timeout, Massillon's defense on the field facing NFL Academy. And movement. Luca Wolf, the former basketball player, moved to the bottom of the screen there.
False start on the Academy, number 81. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Luca Wolf is playing his second ever tackle football. Second ever. So you could understand that maybe he's not cool and up with the snap count. Last week played against the team from Edgewater, Florida. He played high school basketball in the States in Baltimore, had a cup of coffee there, decided to go back to Europe, and is now playing tight end, lined up wide here to the left. And Zabo gives to Sealing, runs right to the middle of the line, and into the arms of Michael Wright, the 5'10", 280-pound junior. He's not the tallest guy, but man, he is stout in the middle of that line. He also carries the football. Let's get more on Luca. Taylor?
Well, Andrew, it was interesting talking to him yesterday. I asked him what's been the hardest adjustment to the game of football, and he said, I can't improvise as much as I did in basketball. It affects everyone else if I don't do my assignment, regardless of what breaks down in front of me. Something all of these guys in individualized sports have had to learn in the game of football.
Yeah, it's a new world. It's a new sport. It's playing in a new country here as well, as Teets gets a couple of yards. He had the long 29-yard catch and run earlier, the tackle by linebacker Jaden Williams.
Teets has been looking at a couple colleges as well, Liberty, Virginia Tech. Like, he knows a good showing today can only continue to add to his repertoire and film that coaches around the country will be watching against the talented Massillon.
Abe Moore jokes that he's his fourth son. He was the only tight end on the roster a year ago. It's now third and long, 3rd and 11. NFL Academy has to get to the Massillon 43 for a new set of downs. Let's see what Zabo can do here. He's lofting it. Left sideline. Got a push off. Got a catch. No flag. Weave. Got a touchdown. Seb Harris.
Number 10, Sebastian Harris.
He created some space with that right arm. The official didn't see it. And Harris is in the end zone for NFL Academy's first score of the day.
Yeah, had a feeling they would take a shot to the left. It's been man-to-man coverage against the best corner. Lennox Lemon does a nice job running by him. A little bit of propeller with that right arm. Perfectly located, and the sideline, which is right in front of us, absolutely erupts.
A 53-yard touchdown for Seb Harris from Mikey Zabo. And now Bridges, extra point, makes it 14-7. How about that?
How about getting a little love from an all-timer in TJ Hushmanzada?
58 seconds remaining in our
Oregon State legend TJ Hushmanzada. We have Keyshawn Johnson also in the house. The Hall of Famer Marshall Faulk is here. So we have NFL legends, especially on the offensive side. And this is what this is all about here for NFL Academy and really this event at the Nike World Headquarters. You got an NFL great, a former Pro Bowler here. Got these passes from Carson Palmer, coaching up a kid from the UK on the finer points of the wide receiver.
Well, there might not be anybody better in our lifetime in the game that can understand a unique path to the NFL. TJ Hushmanzada didn't play high school football, right? He would have loved to have been playing when he was a senior in high school at an academy like this, let alone a high school. Had to find his way through a junior college, finds his way down the street to Oregon State with Jonathan Smith, now Michigan State's head coach, as his quarterback. Chad Johnson, Ocho Cinco as another wide receiver. I remember them putting it on Notre Dame in 2000, and then that led him to an illustrious NFL and Pro Bowler career.
Hey, Zabel was able to connect on some deep shots last week. And this really is, in my mind, Yogi, the path to victory here for NFL Academy. Look, you got to get Seelig in space here. He is dangerous. We've seen it in special teams. We haven't necessarily seen it offensively yet, but if they can hit a couple of deep shots, even if it's throwing the ball up for grabs downfield, right? This is the way they can win because they're not getting a lot of push up front.
So much of this game is momentum, and I think when you're a new team in a new arena, like Massillon may have never played on Nike's campus. They've played on huge stages every weekend. You know, 10, 15, 16,000 people at every home game. NFL Academy has not done that. So I think they've weathered the storm a little bit. Early on, it was, whew, you're shocked a little bit as Massillon comes out efficiently. Boom, 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 all of a sudden 14-0. Then that explosive play gives you the confidence. And this is a game where confidence can be gained drive after drive after drive. Remember, they punted, didn't go for it on 4th and short. Got the ball back, led to a score. So now, can they kick it deep and get a stop and keep the momentum rolling?
Listen, NFL Academy is used to playing in big buildings. There's just no one there. When they go to Tottenham, they play games at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, where the NFL plays in the regular season, when not at Wembley. But there's only a couple of hundred people there. When Massillon won a championship last year, they played at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium in Canton, where you saw the Hall of Fame game, where you saw Caleb Williams watching from the sideline. Obviously, he didn't play the game, but the Bears and the Texans a couple of weeks ago, live. That's where Massillon is used to playing. Onside kick. Why not? That's what Steve Hagan tries. It doesn't work. They call it a squib kick, maybe not necessarily an onside kick. They're trying to get the ball back regardless. Didn't work. Nice try. Taylor Hackenbrack picked it up.
Steve Hagan, he wants his team to play loose. He wants them to have fun, cut it loose, watch them to practice. You go to the other sideline, and it is mission-minded, right? This is a team. Their goal is to put it on whoever lines up across from them. So now how do they respond? This is a game of adversity, right? They met a little bit. What do they do on this drive with their new offensive coordinator?
Tyler Hackenbrack, beg pardon, 24, the senior and the return man. And a heck of a safety here. Slaughter to throw. Pressure. Slaughter can run a little bit. Slaughter. Juke move, and he's down to the 42-yard line. Now some push and shove it back behind the play. Slaughter with 3 yards. Call it 3 yards to the 38 on first down.
Slaughter's so experienced, and by that, experience in the pocket, right? He drops his pressure from Matty Kruger, one of the better edge rushers for NFL Academy. Slides up, eyes are downfield. There's a threat to the secondary. Sees green grass, gets positive yardage.
Officially a gain of 5, Slaughter to throw, Tolles to the right, has the catch, gets the first down, out of bounds across the 45-yard line, pushed out of bounds by 2 DBs. Let's see where they spot it. It's enough for a first down, certainly, and they got to mark it on the 48-yard line.
It's enough for you, Tigers, first down.
I've liked it when Massillon has done a little misdirection, right? They're pulling some offensive linemen, catching the eyes of this NFL Academy defense, and then coming back with something countering that movement.
14 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Slaughter complete across midfield.
Slaughter's pass completed to number 11, Ricardo
Wells with the clock winding down in the first quarter.
Ricardo Wells with the
reception.
On the
It's
tackle.
into NFL Academy territory to the 48-yard line. A gain of 3. Pretty entertaining first quarter here on the Nike campus, the Nike World Headquarters in Beaverton, Oregon. Massillon, a couple of early touchdowns from Jameer Gamble. But the deep ball from Mikey Zabo, and we've got a game after 1.
We welcome you back to the Nike Kickoff Classic. Taylor Davis down here on the sideline where many legends are rolling around. I'm joined by Marshall Falk right now. And Marshall, as a guy who experienced such success in this game, how important are initiatives like this to continue to grow the game?
It's amazing. It's amazing, and we need it. We want our game to become a global game. I know flag football is going to be in the Olympics, but if we can get actual tackle football in the Olympics, I mean, there's something there. But to see all of these kids from different countries come together on the academy side, and what the league is doing with the initiative to grow the game, it's just amazing.
This game is on the heels of the girls' flag football game that just wrapped up, and obviously something that the Saints have poured into heavily. So kind of adding on to that growth of the sport for flag football to emerge the way it is at the high school level, what does that mean for the future?
Oh, it just creates the fandom, obviously fantasy football, flag football, not just boys but girls as well. Watching these young ladies out here, how passionate they are, it was hilarious. The young lady who basically was the star for the South Alaska team, she take off her gloves. I'm like, you got nails on under there? I'm like, man, that's balling. I don't know if I could have even did that. But it just shows you like how passionate they are and just the fandom behind the game. They don't just have to be fans. They don't just have to play
Hails
football.
man downfield on the offense. 5-yard penalty.
It's been fun to watch, and now we have an international team here, guys that aspire to play here in the States. You're down here on their sideline. What advice do you pass on to them?
Play with passion. Love the game, because the game will not love you back.
Facts. But it loved you, and you were a blast to watch. Enjoy it out here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Taylor. Thank you, Marshall. We had a touchdown. Peyton Mitchell wiped off the board, slaughtered it out of the pocket, but half the offensive line was illegally downfield. So now it's 1st and 15, and Slaughter's going to find Tolles and get some of that yardage back. Actually, a nice play there for a mobile quarterback with a flag again. And I'm guessing, Yogi, this one's a hold. So Massillon backing up again.
Number 61, Massillon, 10-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
And that one's on the Wisconsin commit to tackle the 6'6" senior Nolan Davenport.
Still first down.
See it there at the bottom of your screen. The hands on the outside. He knew it when it was over. He said, I got to get my hands inside. These are the penalties that happen in your opening game, right? Whether it's offensive lineman downfield, holding penalties. Just didn't see it in the first quarter. It was pretty flawless from Massillon. The majority of their offensive drives.
Davenport was holding Matty Kruger, who learned about football by watching videos on YouTube, he told us. Here's check down in the middle, and Mitchell is popped. Hit hard. Nice stick right there by 28, the linebacker Raul Khalifa.
How about him? He showed up 3 weeks ago. He's just learning how to play. Right? Keep the head up. That's the biggest lesson. Glad he did that on that snap as a linebacker.
And we can't overstate the difference in interiors. Not only is Massillon a power program here, but these kids have been playing since Pee-wee. I mean, since they were 5, 6 years old. Some of these kids have been playing for 5, 6 weeks. That's it. As Carter catches that, and Massillon's going back to the original line of scrimmage and face a 3rd and 10. You cannot overstate the difference.
Yeah, tell you what, that was pretty impressive from Liam Kling out of Germany. He played, his youth league was the Hatterborn Dolphins. Probably haven't heard of them a ton. Got a little interest from the ACC. Sounds like Wake Forest got a shot there, maybe some others. He's actually played a lot of football, and he's shown up. Seen him on special teams. Saw him right there retracing on the tunnel screen for the tackle.
Massillon 5 straight completions on this drive, but a couple of penalties as well certainly have not helped. Slaughter loads up, fires deep. Carter cannot bring it into the goal line.
Incomplete.
That end of that play was a beautiful example of the relative inexperience from the NFL Academy. Watch, the ball is in the air at the end. There's a real shot for a pick, but it's just the timing of when the ball's in the air, just finding the right angle there late. Struggle with that with Batenga Kalyata. And how about that near catch?
Offense on deck, right? Offense on deck.
Carter almost had a 28-yard touchdown. They're going to keep the offense on the field now on 4th down, 4th and 10. And Massillon, Coach Nate Moore's going to go got to get to the 18-yard line. Slaughter, pump fake, brings it down, throws. Tolles has it, flags out. Tolles in to the end zone. No, out of bounds on the 1. But again, flags were down. Illegal man downfield again. Did he step out of bounds? Was Tolles out of bounds and then came back in?
Never saw a hat off from the officials on the sideline.
Didn't see a hat off either, but I heard someone to the stand say hat off from our mic over there. This will be the 3rd penalty if it's on Massillon on this drive, and a costly one here on 4th down.
He was jumping up and down wide open at the sticks for what seemed like forever.
So an explosive start for Massillon, and now a penalty-filled drive here after NFL Academy gets into the end zone to cut this to a 1-score game. Officials still talking it over. 9:41 remaining here in the second.
Illegal participation on the offense. 15-yard penalty, replay 4th down.
He must have stepped out.
He must have.
The rule is if you go out on your own, you cannot get the ball again. You see that? There it is.
Yep, right foot, left foot.
Both feet. Did one with his left, one with his right. If you get forced out, you just have to establish with 2 steps, then you can touch the ball and be the first one with contact. If you go out on your own like he did, that one's on you, and that is a huge victory for the NFL Academy and a brutal loss there for Massillon, because that was not only explosive, but that was potentially inside the 1-yard line.
Exactly. So Tyler Hackenbrack, who is a safety, play on offense. He's a return man. He is also a punter. He does everything. He is now back on his own 43-yard line. Jamil Seka stands back inside his own 10. 30 yards of penalties on that drive for Massillon. Hackenbrack gets it away. Seka is going to let it bounce. And it's going to get downed and batted. It's going to roll to the 5-yard line. And it's going to be a long field here for NFL Academy. And it's 14-7. And tell you what, Yogi, after seeming, I'll be honest, as if they were going to get their doors blown off in the first couple of minutes here, NFL Academy has picked it up. Maybe put the nervousness, the anxiety aside about playing on the big stage here. And they're in this.
Yeah, they are. Look, we talked to Steve Hagan about it, and he said, look, he continues to tell his team that we have to be calloused up. That's his quote. He said, it rains a lot in practice. You don't have an indoor facility. We're going 5 days a week, and that builds up the ability to navigate when things aren't going your way. They haven't flinched. You're right. It could have been over playing this powerhouse.
Yeah, they could have. They made it close last week against Edgewater out of Florida, and the fourth quarter was played in a downpour. Here is Seelig. Ball's out. Seelig got a hand back on it after getting popped. Second time the ball has been on the ground today for NFL Academy, and they've been able to recover both.
How lucky is he to go snag that one with his fingertips. Makes a nice cut, but watch the hit right on the ball. It pops up. He grabs it. Lucky there for the Academy.
Trayon Williams, the DB and wide receiver, playing both ways there. Coming up with that pop and forcing the fumble. Seelig back to the line of scrimmage.
Keep an eye on Teets right there, standing up in the slot.
Teets wearing 8 as he and Wolf now shift. Teets at the 29-yard catch and run earlier. 2nd and 10 for Mikey Zabo. The Austrian hands to the German, who was born in America. Seelig to the 15-yard line.
I mean, let's just nerd out for a second. They shift, they motion, they move the back behind the quarterback, and then they pull a tackle. I mean, think about that. Some of these guys are playing for the first time. So the job that Steve Hagan and company have done, Clayton Turner, the offensive coordinator, played some college ball at the U in Miami, is pretty impressive.
Peter Martin, 82, the tight end, checks in, hard count, and McConnell jumped. They're going to get a first down on a Mikey Zabo hard
Dead ball. Encroachment. Massillon High School. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
The longer it goes, maybe the better the NFL Academy gets. Nice job there in this little sequence.
Hagan, I described him yesterday, talking to Yogi U. Taylor and I were talking to some of their players. He's almost like your favorite uncle. He's all positive energy. Martin's in motion there. He's all energy. He's got dad jokes. And he's a great teacher and a great coach. Seelig makes a man miss. Seelig then goes down at the 20-yard line. Good job swarming there defensively from 13. No, from 13, Logan Alden. And it's 2nd down.
You're seeing this NFL Academy team slow it down just a hair, right? Be a little bit more about execution than trying to go as fast as possible.
They don't huddle. Hagan says he hates to huddle, wants to keep the tempo going. Figure that is their best route to victory here, knowing that while they're a talented team, they are certainly the less experienced team. And it sounds like
Dead ball. Encroachment on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Replay 2nd down.
interesting way to call it. If it sounds like I'm overplaying the experience thing, really,
Help them out a little bit.
believe me, I'm
We're
not.
from Germany. You got to yell in German.
Hagan coaches in English. He wants the kids to speak English. They do have one assistant, however, who does speak German, and we did hear a lot of German instruction when we went to their walkthrough a day ago. Sabo, the hard count with the hands. No one jumps this time. 2nd and 15. Keep an eye on Okuwande. There on the left, 14. He got in the end zone last week. He has been quiet here today. Sabo's going to look that way. Little head and shoulder fake. Takes it down. Now throws deep on the other sideline. Martin goes up and gets it with a flag at the 45.
They might give him an offensive PI here on the push-off. I think when you extend the arm, it's fair to be called. If you keep it within your body, as a former wideout, a little TBD on that one. That was just a jump ball.
Peter Martin played for the Potsdam Royals. German kid. Somebody might not make the trip, but he is here. But they're walking back to the line of scrimmage after that jump ball, the 45.
And there's the little things that as you continue to play and rep, get those nuances at wide out, how to use your body against contact.
Illegal participation, number 10 of the offense. Half the distance to the goal. Replay 2nd down.
And Seb Harris, the wide receiver. They were both lined up there to the left.
Correction, number 82 on the offense.
So they do get Martin.
There you go.
Stepped out of bounds.
It's interesting.
Stepped out of bounds, came back inbounds. Through the flag. 7 minutes remaining here in the second quarter. Zabo's backed up on zone 3, calls for the ball. Loves clapping the hands. Trying to see if he can get Massillon to jump. Tigers don't bite this time. Seelig around left end.
It's been fun to watch number 3, Vito McConnell, play all day. You know, he's a defensive player. He can play outside backer, kind of that overhang outside backer. You get on the line of scrimmage. We've seen him drop into coverage. He's the guy that really stands out when you're preparing and watching this Massillon defense on tape. Committed to Miami of Ohio, and his star is just going to continue to grow. We'll see as college football continues to evolve, but don't be shocked to watch his recruiting continue to develop.
Big kid, 6'3", plays linebacker and tight end, both sides of the ball. And one of the key returning players here for Nate Moore, player that helped win a state championship a year ago. Zabel on 3rd and 22. Martin brings it in. Martin works to the middle of the field. On 3rd and long, he needed the 32. Doesn't get back to the 20. And it's punt time here for Academy. Logan Allman on the tackle.
Well, doesn't end in points, but kept this offense of Massillon off the field. And they learn, hey, when you're getting near the out-of-bounds line, a chance for explosive play, got to be aware of the sideline.
Hackenbracht back to return. Bobby Bridges is going to punt it on the run as he was under pressure, was able to get that snap, and then on the run, punted into the Massillon sideline.
Second poor snap and/or drop of the afternoon. Vito McConnell all over, but a nice job of the punter, finding his way out of chaos. Look at the athleticism. And then, yeah, just drop kick it, knock it out. Away we go. We'll be back.
It is the biggest NFL fantasy season ever, and we've got all the info you need to dominate your league, from lineup advice to waiver wire targets and sleepers to watch out for. Our experts have all your fantasy needs covered. NFL Fantasy Live, weekdays 6 p.m. Eastern Time, only on NFL Network. Have you drafted your team yet?
No, I haven't, but I will say this. I played international football in Australia, and this was 20 years ago, and guys were playing fantasy then. You go to anywhere in Europe now, they're waking up early for games. We've seen what happens when NFL announces they're going to have a game there. It sells out in a matter of literal minutes. Fantasy football, whew, I bet this team's got some good squads.
Absolutely. Gamble, who has 2 touchdowns, breaks tackles. Gamble, look at the leg drive and the push there. Across the 20, down to the 15. And Massillon, one play in after the punt onto their sideline is in the red zone.
Got a feeling on the sideline there was a little stewing going on for the Tigers? I think so. Finding their way, going back to their bread and butter, inside run game with Gamble, who has had a heck of a first half.
Yeah, gain of 19. They're officially 15, I beg your pardon, for Gamble. Already with those 2 touchdowns. And he stands there to Slaughter's right. The lefty quarterback takes the snap, under pressure, and sacked. Drop back at the 27. Mensha Arthur.
That's a nice job. I thought they were setting up a screen because everyone was in the backfield. There was nothing doing. Arthur from the UK, born in Italy, played for the Manchester Titans. Nice job coming off the edge. How about that enthusiasm?
Mesh Arthur with the sack. Parents from Ghana, speaks 3 or 4 languages. Speaks getting in the backfield there to bring down Slaughter. Loss of 7. Give to Gamble. Right up the middle. Gets maybe around 6 inside the 20 to bring up 3rd and goal.
Nice job by Stremple on the tackle at the safety spot, but Back wasn't touched until he got to the last layer of that defense.
With the tackle for the NFL Academy.
Maurice Strempel played for the Cologne Crocodiles.
It'll be on 3rd and 13
Love the
for the
names.
Tigers.
The Cologne Crocodiles?
All of them. Paris
Fan of-
Musketeers, Cologne Crocodiles, all those teams. European League of Football.
Your favorite team, of course, the
Yeah.
Paris Musketeers. Slaughter. Over the middle. Tolles can't get it behind him.
In week 4, that's a touchdown. That's one of those where you just kind of keep working the timing, the angle of the route. You see Tolles, he flattens it off. The ball's at a little higher of an angle. Quarterback Slaughter, you're always reading that safety or that linebacker, that dropper. Had to get it over Joel Quaiza.
Quessier.
There you go, thank you.
Teamwork. This will be a 38-yard attempt for Mateo Herrera from just inside the right hash. Herrera wide to the right. Massillon up over NFL Academy, 14-7, 3:26 remaining here in the second quarter. Herrera misses the field goal wide to the right. Steve Hagan thought he might lose some more hair today, but his team is hanging in there. 14-7, 3:26 remaining in the second quarter. Coaching NFL Academy. Came all the way from London, landed in Seattle, 10-hour flight. Team met the Seahawks, drove down here to just outside of Portland, and here they are hanging with Massillon. Zabo with a deep shot, hangs in the air. Harris comes back forward, and he has it at the 47-yard line between two Massillon DBs, and another deep shot for Zabo and Harris.
How about this little wheel route? Nice job setting it up like he's going to stock block, slows down, catches the defense. Love an underthrown deep ball, goes up and makes another explosive play.
It's a gain of 35. Zabo now almost picked off. Jaden had it in his hands, but Williams could not bring it down.
Oh, the momentum. I'll tell you what, for a quarterback, especially a young quarterback against a really, see a player injured, against a really good scheme, sometimes the most challenging throw is to your left. It's hard to see those linebackers, where they're going, how they're dropping. Got lucky there. Almost a pick six.
Trayon Williams, the defensive back, number 27, is down. As they're looking at his right leg. Zabo's been able to hit a couple of deep balls. I mentioned earlier here, Yogi, that would be the way after watching the game a week ago for them to hang with Massillon, and so far that's the formula. 3:06 remaining, second quarter, injury timeout in a 14-7 game here in Beaverton.
It'll be second down and 10 for the NFL Academy.
Tran Williams has gone to the sideline here for Massillon as we see this incredible drone shot from high atop Ronaldo Field on the Nike campus. Second down with Seelig breaking through. Seelig gets a block. Eustace Seelig can run. Reverses field. Seelig to the far pylon. Seelig is into the end zone. That kid's got some juice.
Didn't you have a feeling like he's going to break one? From the opening kickoff throughout the first quarter and change. And how about this angle right here? Hits the hole, puts his right foot in the ground, picks up a couple blocks, then across the field. He's like, Reggie who? Reggie Bush? Yeah, that's me, man. Across the field, Marshall Faulk style, all the way in for a tug.
46 yards for the kid who was born in Boulder, Colorado. Bridges off the high snap, puts the extra point through, and we are tied.
What do you think? What do you think, Coach Prime? What do you think about that guy coming on back to Boulder, maybe? Help out the program.
19 years old, born in Boulder, but moved to Germany with his family. His father was in Colorado for work, moved back, born and raised in Germany. And Taylor, this kid's good.
You can say that again. And down here on the Massillon sideline, this defense is a bit frustrated that they just let that one loose. Head coach Nate Moore told us in preparation for this game, their running back is the key to making them go. He said that kid could fit in anywhere. They came in knowing they were going to have to stop him. And so seeing the attitude down here from this defense, it actually is a testament to the respect they have for Seelig.
Who has, thank you Taylor, 8 carries for 60 yards, 46 yards on that touchdown. So look, 7 for 14 on his other carries, but he's been effective in the return game, and that 46-yard ankle-breaking touchdown has tied this game.
I'll tell you, just to kind of, because I know NFL fans will love this, but Eustace played for the Schwäbisch Hall Unicorns.
Yes.
There's a
they're a big deal.
They're a big deal. There's a beautiful documentary that came out about that team. You know who's an executive producer on that film?
Go ahead.
Christian McCaffrey.
Little squib kick again. It's going to be fielded near the 30.
And I just say that because as he crossed back across the field, then went from the ball in his right hand to the ball in his left hand. Most international players don't do that. And look, he's not Christian McCaffrey, but there's a little bit of vibe there where you watch, of course, that's probably a player that he tries to emulate. Watch Christian McCaffrey grow up in Denver, in Colorado. There's a couple little ties here between those two backs.
Absolutely. Seelig was the guy who had to stop. If you watched the game last week, a lot of it in a rainstorm 2 hours north of London. Seelig almost single-handedly kept NFL Academy in the game. We knew he was going to be the guy to stop coming in. So far, he has lived up to potential. Milo Lennox, number 5, into the game for Massillon at running back. Massillon, 2:44 remaining here. Second quarter will start by hitting Ricardo Wells. Not a lot of room there. Ricardo Wells a couple of yards, but Massillon is now in a lot tighter game than maybe many had anticipated here. It's 14-14 for Coach Nate Malone, coming off a state championship. Nate Moore, beg your pardon, a state championship a year ago. Wells and Tolles to the left, they go 4 wide. They give it to Lennox, ball's out of the 45, picked up by Academy, and there is a turnover. They get it back after the touchdown. Joe Quessier with the recovery.
How about the confidence this team is playing with? Quessier, ball pops right into his arms. The guy we met with yesterday, just not 2 hands on it. It gets knocked out by the defensive end, right into Quessier. Watch the swipe. Boom. Coming from the edge. I think that's Liam Kling, number 40. And Massillon's lucky that was not returned to the house. So now, can you piggyback this? Remember, Massillon will get the ball to kick off the third quarter.
And great field position here on the 33-yard line. Szabo looks to the sideline. As Seelig with a 46-yard touchdown sets up in the backfield to his left. That's Harrison motion top of the screen. Zabo fires right. Okwande behind him, could not hang on, and almost intercepted Lennox. Lennon couldn't get his hands on it.
And the way the ball bounces. Okay, so a big stat to track in all of football is the middle eight. The last 4 minutes of the second quarter, the first 4 minutes of the third quarter. It predicts a lot of success if you can maximize and win that scoring total in those 8 minutes. Oftentimes you'll find yourself victorious. Here's an opportunity with about 2:26 remaining.
And a full complement of timeouts for NFL Academy. Pulls it out of the belly, throws it left. That's Martin, who had a long one called back after stepping out of bounds earlier. Martin to the 30-yard line, sets up third and manageable.
And right now, you just want to manage and navigate the clock here. You know, they're trying to hurry up and find a rhythm, but you don't want to just take off 30 seconds and give the ball back.
5 and movement.
And flag on the play.
Tell you what, you just look at the sidelines. Oh, Taylor's down there. We're closest to NFL Academy. The juice
Dead
is
ball.
phenomenal.
Encroachment, defense. 5-yard penalty. Remains third down.
All right, so the screen said 3rd and 5. It's going to be 3rd and now inches. Taylor?
Yogi, you mentioned the juice. Coach Hagan just walked by me and said, I always tell them the crazier it gets, the more calm you have to be. I said, that's great advice. He said, yeah, but it doesn't work. I need to learn how to say it in German.
Sprecher crazy? I don't.
Hey, you just came off the Olympics, man.
Yeah, from stateside. On 3rd and 1, they give to Seelig. And a great push up front by Mikey Wright here. And it's going to be 4th and short. Allman as well. They didn't get it.
And they're going for it, which is the right move here. You want to just make sure you milk the clock right now. We'll see what happens. Somebody take a timeout.
Academy takes a timeout. So NFL Academy with 1:22 remaining here in the second quarter in a tie game.
So the NFL
Calls
Academy with a
timeout. You want even more NFL action this season? Get access to NFL Plus Premium and stream live games on mobile. NFL RedZone, NFL Network, game replays, and more. It's all in one place. Sign up today at plus.nfl.com. Terms and conditions apply. I was using it this morning, watching some preseason football before heading to this, the 3rd annual Nike Kickoff Classic. Taylor down the sideline, Yogi and Andrew up here in the booth. We are on top of the NFL Academy sideline, only a few feet above them on a riser. Really cool setup here at Ronaldo Field. This is the Nike World Headquarters. Got the Tiger Woods building over there, the Nia Hamm building, the Ken Griffey Jr. building, the Bo Jackson building. They do both football and baseball, the Bo Jackson building. Actually, anything you want at the Bo Jackson building. This place has been amazing.
Yeah, it's been special, and what a special opportunity here before the half. I'd have a little bit of shift in motion, right? You're going to the well. You're going to what you believe in the most. A play that you know you can operate with tremendous efficiency. The most confident play on that call sheet if you're the offensive coordinator, Clayton Turner.
All right, 2 in the backfield. Teach the tight end in the backfield. Zabo looks back to the bench. Play clock's at 10. Zabo gives to Seelig right up the middle. Runs into an entire Massillon line with Michael Wright cleaning it up, and they didn't get it. Turnover on down.
The one time he hasn't been patient. You know, sometimes you just try to pour it up in there. There was nothing there. You want to be a little patient. If he creases a little to his left, it's probably a first down. They had some movement there. To his left, ran right into the back of his old lineman.
Referees will take time.
Not going to be challenging a spot here in high school football on these rules. Wonder where they decided his momentum is. On that angle down the line, it looked close.
Yeah, I didn't think he got it. But let's bring the sticks out. Let's measure this thing.
At some point, we're going to get chips in footballs.
I was doing a Rams-Chargers game last week. We had a virtual measurement. All I wanted was a football with a laser beam. And we got it. Didn't get it here, though, and a turnover on that.
Okay, so here's the conversation you're having, right? You look at that previous drive, and what did they do in between second and third down? They went fast.
Yeah.
Right? They made sure they hustled on a scrimmage. So that's about 30 seconds you gave back. And then even when they called the timeout, they called it early to get the proper play, and they were confident. It makes sense. And that's the aggressive nature of this team at the NFL Academy, and their head coach Steve Hagan said, we want to go for it. We want to be bullish. We want to be aggressive. We'll see how that impacts this 2-minute drive here from Massillon.
All right, Massillon here from just shy of the 25. Slaughter fires right, caught on the far sideline. Malone has it out of bounds near the 30-yard line. That's going to stop the clock at 1:12, so there's a good start.
I'd let him cook back there, man. Spread the field, try to use the entirety of the 53 and a 30 yards from sideline to sideline.
He's got Gamble next to him in the backfield. He's got Wells and Tolles to the left, throwing. Once Wells goes up and gets both feet down right across midfield. Nice catch by Ricardo Wells.
Nice catch, nice ball. You kidding me? Best ball we've seen all day. On rhythm, against coverage, throws to a spot. 1, 2, 3, foot in the ground. That was surgical. Huge conversion crossing midfield.
And the 5th catch of the day for Ricardo Wells. He is over 100 yards receiving. Takes it into Academy territory. Slaughter, eyes downfield. Dumps it off, incomplete at the 40-yard line for his back Gamble. That'll stop the clock with 1 minute remaining here in the first half.
Such a big part of playing quarterback right now is having situational awareness. And that's really hard early in the season. Luckily for Massillon, they got a guy in Jalen Slaughter who's dramatically experienced. He's been in a spotlight since the 7th grade as a quarterback.
Called him a young Vince Young when he was in 7th grade. Not the biggest kid, but he can make plays like that. How about that? Lifted it to Gamble. A little improvisation, and it gets it across the Academy 35-yard line, moves the sticks, clock moving as well.
How about this? Looks like a young you-know-who, Pat Mahomes there. Just a little nice job with first down.
Gets the first down. Gamble's got a couple of touchdowns, 42 on the clock. Slaughter, not the biggest guy, steps up. It's Gamble again on the check down, and Gamble stays on his feet. First down near the 20. Clock stops at 32.
A rule within every quarterback room when you're in the fringe and/or red zone. So that's 40 in. Touchdown, check down. If it's not there down the field in a 2-minute drive, check it down, live for another day. They move the sticks, 2nd straight check down, 2nd straight first down.
How are you reading this, quarterback? I'm reading this touchdown to check down. And both times here, the check down to Gamble has worked. And now Hagan's going to call timeout as we see more there.
Hey, listen. Jar. Hey, guys, hey, we may be in a clock kick situation. All right, so 25 seconds is going to be tough. Well, I know. You score and take care of it. All right, but we may be in a clock kick situation. If we're in it, guys that are on, stay on. Guys that are off, get off. 25 seconds.
So Nate Moore telling his team here we might be in a situation where we have to clock it and then run the kick team out there. Or in a situation where the kick team, if it's a running clock, has just got to run out there and he's got to get his offense off the field and the special teams off.
Yeah, and that's just not a conversation with the specialists and the kicking unit. That's a conversation with the skill players and the offensive linemen. You catch a ball and you're fighting for an extra yard, it's not worth it. Catch it, get down, and away we go. If you want to clock it, when you get down, you got to pop up and just get on the line of scrimmage.
Gamble limped off the field there. Peyton Mitchell now into the game at back. 32, going end zone. Carter has it. Put him up. Touchdown. Massillon and the Tigers jump back in front. Jaquez Carter caught 7 touchdowns a year ago. Here's one to start the season against NFL Academy, 21 yards.
Well, look at the safety and the hash. It's supposed to be over the top in cover 2. That's his area, but just shuffles, never really turns his feet and gets there. And the whole shot is an absolute dime to Carter ahead of Calyada, the safety.
That's a nice ball. Herrera with the point after. Nate Moore didn't have a timeout. Needed his team to get ready to run out there and maybe kick a field goal with time winding down. Didn't matter. Slaughter with the touchdown pass.
I'll tell you what, that guy holding that sign is MVP. He's had it up the whole game.
Yeah.
Massillon against the world. And I'll tell you what, that's a really nice job by the coach, making sure his team dealt with adversity. Look, think of the momentum 45 seconds ago. you're thinking, okay, here comes the NFL Academy. Can they be up at half against the defending champs who haven't lost in over a year? No, momentum comes back the other way, and Jalen Slaughter just cooks on that drive. Check down, whoop, touchdown.
And that's what this Massillon team can do when it gets rolling, right? They've got an experienced operator back there, a quarterback, a kid who can throw. It's a fun team to watch when it gets rolling. But this game is fun. And NFL Academy came here with something to prove. And you know what? They've done a darn good job of that so far. It's 21-14. There's quarterback Mikey Zabo on the sideline here. Enjoyed our conversation with him yesterday. He's going to get another shot at it. 19 seconds to go. Seka and Seelig, 13-0. Back to return. We get closer and closer to the half. On a cloudy day here in Beaverton, there had been some concern maybe we would have some rain. The sun has not been shining much today, but you know what? This weather is perfect. Temps in the 70s, little breeze, good times. Short kickoff with a flag, and we're going to do it again. Steve Hagan says offsides on Massillon. Let's see if he's right. Officials do not, or rather coaches do not call their own penalties.
False start on the kickoff. They'll move the Tigers back 5 yards.
I like the decision oftentimes as a coach. You say, make them do it again. You're hoping that the coverage unit is a little tired. I think it's important to note because a few times Eustace has had a shot to bust one. Can he get one here against maybe a little tired kickoff?
Yes. And two nice returns early. Nolan Hendricks wearing number 90 is kicking off here. There is Seelig, 26-yard touchdown early. With I Want to Rock Right Now playing the loudspeakers. Here's Seelig. Can he rock it from the 10? Seelig runs to his left. Maybe a face mask. There's the flag. Seelig brings it out to the 18-yard line. Now we got a fight on the near side 20 after that face mask. And another late flag as well. We got yellow all over the field here as tempers are riding high late in the second quarter.
Oh, they were riding high in pregame. These teams were nose to nose at the 50, separated by the coaches. And all of a sudden, the champ comes out swinging, 14-0. Then the underdog says, nah, bro, we're not done yet. 14-all. They get the ball back, and emotions in all of competitive sports are high. In football heaven here at Nike's headquarters, it might be even a little bit higher.
I love how you keep calling it football heaven. It is pretty cool.
It is.
No, I love it because Massillon plays right down the street from football heaven, right? From the Pro Football Hall of Fame there, which is the home to their rival, Canton-McKinley. Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium is the home of Canton-McKinley High School, right there. Awesome. Some of the preparation for the Hall of Fame is actually done. A lot of the staging for the event in Canton-McKinley High School, right next to that stadium. So, as my man Marshall Falk, who is here on his induction speech, when he said this is football heaven, I love that you are bringing those worlds together, Yogi Roth, and calling here the Nike headquarters in Beaverton, Oregon, football heaven. A lot to talk about here. There were 3 different yellow flags thrown. Got the Academy sideline asking for a Massillon ejection. I don't know if they're going to get that, but let's see how they sort this out. Face mask on the return. That was clear. Then we had a scuffle after the tackle, and we had a scuffle here away from the play on the 20. The DJ has gone from Rob Bass and DJ Easy Rock to Young MC.
I am impressed by your knowledge of music.
I know my old school. Young MC. Love sports radio.
During the kick, face mask on the return team. Dead ball, personal foul, white team. Both fouls result in a first down.
So after all of that, just your garden variety offsetting.
Here you go. Here's the face mask. Obvious. Anybody saw that one watching at home or here. And then to your point, the competitive temperament flaring at the bottom of the screen, the little extracurricular.
Lucas Schertzer, 26, had that face mask on Selig on the return, and then this was away from the play, as mentioned, on the far side, 20. And Hagan is there to get his guy out of there and to break it up. That was Raul Khalifa, number 28, the Academy defensive back. And that is going to be the end of the first half. Academy is going to take a knee and head to the locker room knowing they're hanging with Massillon. We've got a game, friends. 21-14, the defending state champions from Ohio with a one-score lead over NFL Academy, the third annual Nike Kickoff Classic. What a great day here after the girls' flag game earlier. We got a tight one here. Boys high school football, Massillon and Academy.
starting the second half here at the 2024 Nike Kickoff Classic. The Massillon Tigers of Ohio taking on the NFL Academy out of the UK.
Tell you what, that first half was pretty good here. You got Massillon fans traveling all the way from Stark County, Ohio, thinking their team might be blowing out at NFL Academy. Not happening. 21-14. Massillon has the lead over Academy. Taylor Davis, Yogi Rotham, Andrew Siciliano. We had some big plays early in this one, especially with the running back Jameer Gamble with a couple early touchdowns.
Yeah, he was unstoppable early on. You're thinking, okay, here come the Tigers. They're going to do what they did to everybody. But one big explosive play down the sideline of Seb Harris turned the momentum around. And how about this guy? A little mini Mac, a little mini Christian McCaffrey. What do you think, Eustace? Selig, nice job across the field for a touchdown. The momentum, you're thinking it's going to NFL Academy, and then the whole shot. A teardrop. Perfect dime. Looking like a young George Whitfield out there, former quarterback here at Massillon. Touchdown to Jaquez Carter, and here we are.
Here we are. As you see the passing yards, 228, and the total yards, 280, certainly in Massillon's favor, but after going 3 and out on their opening possessions, the first 2 opening possession, Wells here with the return. Massillon, that defense finally broke, and NFL Academy got it going. Let's go down to the third member of our crew to open the third quarter. Hi, Taylor.
Well, I spoke with Steve Hagan at the half, and he told me, hey, we are in this with one of the best in the country. I'm pleased with that. But he said specifically for our defense, we've got to keep them in front of us. He said, we did a good job containing their quarterback, but if he gets out, he can make magic happen, so we have to get him down. He also said, we've got to play smart football, which is really challenging when you're still learning football.
Which is really the storyline hanging over this game. Yeah, guys who've been playing together maybe since they were 5-6 years old. Massillon, the team wearing black, the team from Ohio, state champions a year ago, against young men, many of whom are playing in only their second football game, their second organized football game. And those young men make a defensive stop here. Look right out of the gate. Liam Kling, number 40, from the Hatterborn Dolphins from Germany, stops Jameer Gamble in the backfield.
Yeah, nice job, just getting some penetration, handling that double team inside, and just continuing to compete and fight and compete and fight. Interior defensive lineman done a nice job on that opening play. That was Nana Ajaman from the London Warriors taking on that double team.
He has a great story. You know how Nana was found and introduced to football, American football? He was in a furniture store in South London, and one of the assistant coaches saw him and said, "You want to play football?" And here he is, playing on the Nike campus. How about that? Here's Gamble up the middle. Gamble with a decent run there, hit by Joel Quessier, the linebacker.
Late flag, not sure if that's going to be, yeah, it's going to be a holding. Don't see that often on a run play against Massillon. How about this? How about this just on the sideline? Just trading helmets
right there. Yeah.
I mean, guys don't want to come out, right? Like you saw this group on the sideline come out at halftime, which is tremendous juice and confidence. We heard from Taylor earlier.
Block
how
in
do
the
we
back.
slow down?
75, Massillon. 10-yard penalty, previous spot. Second down.
Block in the back, not
Michael
a hold.
Looney, the left guard, called for the block.
But here's the question, like, okay, Jalen Slaughter was dealing to finish the first half. So what do? Do you try to heat him up? I don't know, because he knows how to get the ball out pretty quickly. You always want to throw where that pressure's coming from. If you want to play coverage, then you got to win with your front four. They didn't do that at all, really, in the first half. The first 2 snaps, advantage NFL Academy at the line of scrimmage.
18-24, 239, and a touchdown for Slaughter in the first half. Throws right to Wells, who had over 100 yards receiving in the first. That is his 6th reception on the day for Ricardo Wells, the senior wide receiver, and it brings up 3rd and long after that penalty on the block in the back.
Tell you what's been so impressive about this team from the NFL Academy is they all rally to the football.
Yeah.
Like, it's a simple thing, but when you're first starting out, you don't know to go run to the football. All 11 are finding their way. Now they got a little bit of juice. How do they handle 3rd down?
Yeah. Hustle's an easy thing to teach for young players. Slaughter steps up. There's Gamble over the middle. Gamble, who had 2 early touchdowns. Gamble, who had to leave the field late in the second quarter, looking to the sideline, has a first down here, and they convert 3rd and 15.
Well, they got about 50 yards so far in this game on just checking the ball down to Gamble. How about just the pocket integrity right there? Staying in the pocket, standing up in the pocket, climbing the pocket, checking it down to his back once again.
3rd catch on the day for Gamble. He had 2 of those checkdowns on that final drive, and it's Quessier who is down, the man who switched helmets there and stayed in the game. We'll check on him, and we'll get back here. Nike World Headquarters, 3rd quarter. So Joel Quessier able to get up and head back to the sideline. Have a drone shot here. Loving the all-22 view, and we used it earlier for the girls' flag football game. South Anchorage shutting out De La Salle from New Orleans, 13-0. The all-14 view, I guess, if you will. Yogi? This is back to the all-22.
Amazing. Just to see this campus, all these athletes got a tour of this prestigious campus. It's an institution here at Nike. They got to see all the buildings, all the facility. Even watched a movie last night, which was so inspiring.
Absolutely. Slaughter to throw off the plate. Slaughter, the deep shot. Carter.
Pass is completed to number 7.
Slaughter.
Touchdown.
The Carter.
Jalen Slaughter connects with
And Massillon
Carter.
opens up the 2-score lead.
40-yard touchdown pass for the Tigers.
This is pretty simple. Man-to-man coverage, and it's just a better route. Watch how he attacks the leverage, puts his foot in the ground, crosses face on the post. No deep safety to be found. Perfect location, and Jalen Slaughter is cooking right now for the Tigers.
Jacquez Carter is getting to the end zone again. His 2nd score on the afternoon. His 4th catch on the day. And the extra point for Nate Moore, who can maybe, it's not over in any way, shape, or form, breathe a little bit easier here. Opening up a 14-point.
Really nice job. Little play fake. See the timing, gets to the top of his drop, the ball is out. The route is perfect, crossing the face, and then you want to throw the ball to that field, to that green grass. So Jacquez Carter can find his way to the end zone.
He's got some touch there.
Yeah, he does. I mean, all game long, he's been able to get the ball up and down. Over linebackers, in front of safeties. Got a nice little velocity element to the ball. And this position in this school takes a ton of pride in. And I think it's the most influential position in all of sport. I mean, you go around and ask anybody in any community if they like football, didn't like football, played sports, didn't play sports, who was your high school quarterback? Right. 99% of them are going to know exactly who that is. Like, your influence in your community is massive. We talked to Elite 11 quarterbacks about that all summer long. Another event that Nike is a huge part of, and good to see Jalen Slaughter continue to be a great example for his community.
Absolutely, and a good story as well. A guy that lost his job last year, maybe could have transferred, but came back for a senior season, and otherwise a gifted passer with a bright future. Seelig fields the kickoff inside the 5. Seelig, he's good. Seelig 35-40. Seelig out of bounds at the 42-yard line. That
NFL Academy returned by number 0.
Look, man, we watch college football every single weekend. He can play in college football to all those scouts watching. Hits the hole, makes efficient and explosive decisions, finds his way every time the ball in his hands to force us to lean in a little bit. Oh, he might. He has once, maybe he'll do it again.
Dalen Pringle with the tackle. Got a text from my man MJD, Maurice Jones-Drew, former NFL rushing champion, who is one of the assistant coaches for De La Salle in Northern California, who in a couple of weeks is going to go to London. Oops! Snapped over Sabo's head, and he is going to pick it up and throw it out of bounds and kill it there. MJD said, because again, his De La Salle team is going to play in London against this NFL Academy team. He's watching, and he is impressed by this guy, Eustace Seelig.
Same here, man. I mean, there's so much college football in this country, from D3 to 1AA to Group of 5, FCS, and of course Power 4 football. He can find a role on a team in this country and fulfill a dream that he had to play college football in this country.
Absolutely. So second down after the bad snap. And Seelig looks to the sideline. Beg your pardon. Seelig and Zabo, the quarterback, number 3, looks to the sideline. Got an Austrian and a German in the backfield. Second down. Zabo has time. Zabo takes a deep shot again over the head of Okwande and almost intercepted. Lemon could not hang on.
Really nice job by Lennox Lemon. Remember, he got beat earlier in the game for a touchdown on a goal ball. Not on the post. Stays on top of the wide receiver the entire route. This is clinic. See how on top of the receiver he is? Nice job. High point in the football. Knows he wished he could have that one back. Almost ran the route for the wideout. This is a corner who's got offers in the MAC right now and potentially more.
And he's done a good job against Okwande, who had 2 touchdowns at a 2-point conversion a week ago, targeted twice today, yet to get his first reception. Third down. Is that a lateral? Nope, they're going to blow it dead. Putting Seelig in the flat, and out comes the punt team at the back.
Pass goes incomplete. Now bring up a 4th down for the
Think
NFL
about
Academy.
the opening 2 drives of this game. They force Massillon to a 3rd down. If they convert again on a check down, leads to a touchdown. Now here you are, you don't get a 1st down, you're giving the ball back. And what type of swing is this? Is this a 14-point swing early on here in the 3rd?
Let's see. Also, number 6, Pringle, who fields it, breaks a tackle. Pringle working left in traffic, staying on his feet. Nice return across the field.
Number 6, Dalen Pringle on the return for the
Great field
Tigers.
position here for Massillon to open up their second possession. 2 rising HBCU football programs head to Canton for their chance to show the national TV. Virginia State Trojans take on the Tigers. Benedict College in the 5th annual Black College Football Hall of Fame Classic. It is September 1st, coming up next weekend, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, only on NFL Network and streaming on NFL Plus.
You know, Andrew, one of the coolest parts of being here on this campus is, of course, the game, but it's the parents who come. And you just saw Dalen Pringle on that return, ran into his parents a few times, his father a few times earlier today. They were so excited, told us all about the watch party back in that stadium and the enthusiasm around this program. Of course, so many people in that family are connected to this program. His older brother played for this team, Dorian. It's pretty cool to see the folks.
Absolutely. Ooh, there's a big hit. Malone got popped immediately by Quessier, and it's a loss of 4 back to the other side of the field.
Quessier has stood out. He's the leader of this team, played for the Dusseldorf Panthers in Germany. And watch him track in the football. He's a guy to watch. You tell MJD, you got to circle him too.
Absolutely.
Find out where number 5 is on defense every snap.
His dad played in the German league. He's got some football bloodlines here and showing it early. It's a loss of 1.
One is on. One is on.
Got Xavier Owens in the backfield, number 25, and a pre-snap penalty there. Owens, the brother of DeJuan Owens, the quarterback last year.
Dead ball. False start. Massillon, 5 yards. Replay second down.
Back him up 5. Mentioned DeJuan Owens a couple of times, helped lead this team to a championship, a state championship, ending a 53-year drought. His brother there,
back to their own
still part of the team, number 25 in the backfield
line.
as they back up 5.
Second down.
Second and 16, just getting going here, third quarter, 28-14. Owens with the carry.
And 25,
it's
Xavier
going to be third
Owens
long
on the
run.
carry for the Tigers.
Xavier Owens, a 5'10", 205-pound sophomore. Tackled there by
It'll be
Turbo
third down and 14 for the Tigers.
23, the defensive back, who, if needed, would double as the kicker. Won a kicking competition this week. As Academy's kicker had some visa issues and isn't able to make it. Here comes the rush. Slaughter steps away, directs traffic, and slings it. Tolls on the far sideline. Incomplete. Out of bounds. Could not hang on and get the feet down. Nice job, though, Slaughter, creating something out of nothing, finding his man downfield. Look at him direct traffic.
That'll bring up a fourth down for the Tigers.
It was the bobble. That was the problem. If he catches it cleanly the first time, he's in. Nice call. Officials are all over that one. And a nice job also from the NFL Academy of not allowing another check down.
Yeah.
They gloved up the running back, Peyton Mitchell, which opened up that throw on the comeback.
Yeah, and you said nice call. Nice ball as well.
Yeah.
Slaughter.
He's played well.
Yeah, accurate on the move. Not just those deep balls, not just those layered throws, but accurate there on the move to the sideline. And his guy could not get the feet down with possession. Hackbrack lands it around the 25-yard line out of bounds. We've got a game, friends. 8:01 to go. Third quarter, 28-14. So this is the second game of a doubleheader. In the early game, we had a girls' flag game. A couple of high school teams, one from South Anchorage here. South Anchorage, Alaska, wearing black. Nevaeh Hartwell got a touchdown. And we had a back-and-forth game. And eventually here, Yogi, the team from South Anchorage, beat the Cavaliers from De La Salle, New Orleans, who had never lost a game.
It was awesome. And this woman, Brianna Bailey, excuse me, she put on an absolute show for South Anchorage as they were able to hoist one of the coolest trophies I think any of us have ever seen.
Brianna Bailey had the second score, the one that clinched the victory. 13-0 the final, and those young ladies are here. Hi, girls. Good camera awareness as well.
They all want to get on. Let's get them on.
Yeah, waving.
They're stars.
And watching NFL Academy hang with Massillon. 8:01 remaining here in the third. Taylor Davis out of the sideline. Yogi Roth. I'm Andrew Siciliano. Thank you for watching today. Third annual Nike Kickoff Classic. Eustace Seelig has a 46-yard touchdown. He has, as far as I can tell, not come off the field offensively. And he's going to draw a late flag here as well. As he's a running back who does not go down to the ground easily. And Massillon knows that, but a little too much. And Marcus Garner Jr. is pleading his case, but the flag was thrown.
Well, the challenge is that the previous drive, something very similar happened to start the third quarter. and NFL Academy held up the back. The extension of the arms is what caused that flag to go from Garner.
And I'm sure Garner's argument is
After
this
the
guy.
play, unnecessary roughness, number 60 in the defense. 15-yard penalty results in a first down.
I'm going to say this guy doesn't go down easily here. Give me some
He's saying
slack
I'm like
here.
Shaq. He's
You
like,
know what
I'm a
saying?
big dude.
Yeah.
15-yard penalty for the NFL.
Right there. It's that right arm.
It's the shove it.
Yeah, we call it every time, and a lesson learned. And this offense now has got a little bit of life.
Exactly. Zabo's completed only one of his last 6 passes here. Seelig is the weapon. Zabo to throw. Zabo to run. Zabo slides across midfield. Picks up decent yardage. And it's out to the 47. No, beg your pardon. The 48-yard line.
Nice job on defense. They're absolutely nowhere to go with the ball. Making a quick decision, tuck and run. Remember, when you slide, it's where you start. That's right.
So they're going to back it up here. Look to me like Academy wide receivers, bottom of the screen, lined up off sides. No flag
on the carry.
Seelig is going to be a couple inches shy of the marker. Let's see if they give it to him. No, they don't. Third down, third and short. Zabo, quick hitter, caught near side. That's a first down and more. Down the sideline, inside the 30. No flag.
Flag on Moose.
And it's caught by Panas.
Yeah, Moose Akanade, I think they're going to call a hold.
There's the flag.
We're going to take a look at that again. That was right in front of us. They might get him on the twist when he went down. Great play call, like numbers advantage, the whole 9 yards on third and short.
And there's the takedown right there. Just watching it off camera here.
So much of your hands, whether it was in the offensive line we saw in the first half, or as wideouts and you're blocking, got to keep your hands inside.
Holding on the offense, 10-yard penalty. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness on the defense, 15 yards. Result of the fouls is a first down.
Wow. Massillon with a couple of costly personal fouls on this drive. There's the block, and there's the takedown. Clearly, that's a penalty.
Going to give the NFL Academy a first down.
It frees Panas to get across the 30 before Hackenbrack can ride him out of bounds. With a personal foul, costly.
Yeah, I mean, he was out of bounds 3 yards, and then you threw him to the ground. You're going to get that called every time. It's hard, though, when your back is to the white and you're trying to make a play.
Get to Seelig, running up the middle. Ball! Massillon says they have it. They're going to say Seelig was down. Second down. Moore and the entire Massillon sideline out there pleading its case.
Drama's incredible right here. Watch him just squirt through. Let's see if he ends up going down. 2 hands around the ball. I don't know, man.
And now we got a late flag on the Massillon sideline.
Yeah, and there is no replay, obviously, in this situation here.
Nate Moore is furious on the Massillon sideline, and there are 2 flags in front of the Tigers bench. Hackenbrack. Man, that's close.
That ball's out. His knee's not on the ground.
Yeah,
I don't see that.
I think you're right. And Michael Wright, 45, the Massillon nose tackle. Now another flag's thrown. Now another flag is thrown in the Massillon secondary.
And you got to imagine that's for something being said. Yeah, I love what both staffs talked about around teaching the young men versus just coaching the player.
Dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct, head coach, Massillon. Dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 27, Massillon. The first foul will be forced the full 15. The second foul, half the distance to the goal, first down.
Trayon Williams, after his head coach Nate Moore got flagged. They thought Seelig fumbled. They have an argument. The ruling was Selig's knees were down. And then 2 flags. And then now NFL Academy's in the red zone and knocking on the door.
Look at this drive. 3 massive penalties to give them a shot to get back in this game. I mean, there's a world after that first score in this third quarter. You're thinking, okay, if Massillon gets another one,
first of the half,
this thing could be done. And look, it's a game of emotion. It's a frustrating game at times. At other times, it is brilliant, and the highs are incredible, but the officials, look, they're not going to get them all right. I don't think they got that fumble right. But if the coach is out on the field in that argumentative nature, they're in the right in terms of making that penalty. Yeah. So frustrating for those watching back in Ohio.
But you got to keep your cool. With the timeout, I'll tell you, NFL Network's Good Morning Football is back. Tune in each morning for inside access, commentary, and coverage of the NFL year-round. Follow the ups and the downs throughout the season. GMFB, Good Morning Football, weekday mornings, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, only on NFL Network.
Be there Monday. Fired up?
Yeah,
go hang on that show. I haven't seen that new set.
Yeah, it's a beautiful set. Yeah. Got Peter and Kyle doing their thing. Got Jamie, got Akbar back in the family. Isaiah Stanbeck there today as well as I was watching. Good times.
Here we go, representing the Pacific Northwest and the Washington Huskies.
There you go. All right. We got Teets slided to the left there, wearing number 8.
I'd work a slant to the bottom of the field here. You got to just be aware where the linebackers drop.
Okwuande to the right. Zabo throwing left, no one home. He wanted Teets well out in front of it and out of bounds. Second and goal. Massillon called the timeout to hope the cooler heads prevail. Take a breather. This game is closer than maybe some on the Massillon sideline would have expected. Maybe some of the Tigers fans back at home. As you see Michael Wright, they're all everything nose tackle. In the middle of that line, this defense needs to stand tall now. 7-yard line. Second and goal. 6:15 remaining, third quarter. Zabo sends Selig in motion, looks that way, now throws back right, intercepted and dropped. Lemon almost had it, but he could not hang on going to the ground.
You know, it's been interesting throughout this game, and Mikey Zabo, the only throws he's missed on have been those types of throws, like those swing types of throws, whether it's a swing route or an inside screen. He never sets his feet. When your feet aren't set, you got no chance to create any velocity on the ball. They get so lucky there. That is a total momentum shifter, and now they got to live for third and goal.
Zabo now 9 of 20 throwing as Okwuande split wide to the right. Play clock down to 5. Selig to his right. Here comes the blitz, backpedaling, throwing low, caught. Selig's into the end zone. Eustace Selig, one-man wrecking crew, his second score of the game.
I mean, doesn't he remind you of another guy who grew up in Colorado? I mean, a little bit of C-Mac. They go back to the well on the screen. Watch, sifts his way through it, catches a low ball, and then he knows where he's got to go. The spin move is what I love, knowing where the pylon is. Touchdown. And the momentum with the PAT.
No good. Wide to the left. Turhoveno couldn't hit the extra point, but Eustace Selig is doing work. Out of the Hackenbrack tackle, Selig scores again. It's 28-20. The 2024 NFL season almost here. Single game tickets are on sale now. 17 games, all 32 teams. Go to NFL.com/tickets to purchase your tickets today. They're available through Ticketmaster, SeatGeek, and Sports Illustrated tickets, members of the NFL Ticket Network. The young men on these two high school football teams hope to get to that stage one day as well. Eustace Seelig on this stage has been impressive. 2 touchdowns, Yogi, 85 total yards.
Really impressive. You know, you talked about the day that we've had here, the girls flag game. They're trying to get scholarships to play girls flag in college. This team from the NFL Academy, they're trying to find a scholarship too, and that man is leading the charge and making a case for himself.
I said total yards is 85 from scrimmage. He's been effective in the return game as well, as Academy's been squibbing it the entire time. And it's picked up by Lemon. He's got room, reverses field to the far sideline in front of that Massillon bench, and a nice return. DB and wide receiver Lennox Lemon. Let's see now what Massillon does to answer. After 3 flags, helped Academy march down the field and get in the end zone and make this again a 1-score game.
First and 10.
See if Gamble comes out of running back. I mean, there really hasn't been much of an answer for him from this NFL Academy defense. And there he is
out there, 21 to 2 touchdowns earlier. Jalen Slaughter, the quarterback. And they're going to start from the 44-yard line. Out of the shotgun snap, receiver fell down to the far sideline. Toll slipped on the turf, second down.
When you go back to the first 2 drives of this game, it was really workmanlike for Nate Moore and his team, and they did it on the ground. They did it in a variety of different ways in the run game. Haven't really found much of a rhythm when you think about the totality of this offense ever since that second drive.
No, not at all. Came out strong there in the third quarter, got in the end zone, the deep ball. But that was one explosive, to your point, Yogi. Not a lot of rhythm. Although good with the checkdowns here. Also a tight end, Logan Allman with a flag as well, back near the line of scrimmage.
Moritz Stremple with the tackle.
Likely a
for the
hold.
NFL Academy. Flag on the play.
Nails a player downfield, number 13 on the offense. 5-yard penalty, replay, second down.
This tight end room did not have a catch. So the returning tight end room combined did not have a reception last year for Massillon. Allman, one of those tight ends, McConnell as well. Both of those young men play both sides of the ball, linebacker and tight end, and another illegal man downfield called. As Slaughter checks it down. I mean, it's working. Gamble with another reception, another check down, and another tackle for Khalifa.
Gotta be careful here again. A little too much here at the end. I mean, look, Massillon's got 13 penalties for over 100 yards in this game. When you look at that, there's been some self-inflicted.
And look at those numbers.
Come on, man.
13, 114, 4 for 22.
And they've been huge penalties. Right? It's not like it's a bunch of false starts. They've had a mix of traditional penalties, but it's been personal foul after personal foul. And they got to be careful here.
And the less experienced team, the relative neophytes, for all intents and purposes, have only 4 penalties for 22 yards. Little tunnel screen, Tolles in traffic, Tolles, Khalifa's going to bring him down, and it's 4th down. NFL Academy, the loose, inexperienced, playing for, in many instances, only the 2nd time in an organized game.
Look, bro, we've been around this game a long time, and confidence is such a part of it. First 2 drives, you're thinking there's no confidence from the NFL Academy. Like, how are these guys feeling against a team that is a storied program? Now it's the other way. It looks like this is the most confident team playing right now in this ball game.
Secca is going to let it bounce, and it takes a Massillon bounce. There's a flag out of this. It's down to the 5.
Takes the Tigers bounce.
A lot of flags here in this third quarter.
Flag on the field.
And Massillon, reading by body language here, thinks it's on them.
Well, the good thing for the NFL Academy is the field position can't get much worse.
No. Although, let's see. 3:59 remaining here in the third quarter. Massillon from Stark County, Ohio, leading 28-20.
During the kick, holding on the receiving team, half the distance to the goal, first down.
Hackenbrack had his hands out as if to say he thought it was on Massillon. Notice, Taylor Davis, a big difference here, the demeanor on these two sidelines.
Oh yeah, the list really keeps growing. One thing that has stood out to me is that the NFL Academy coaches have no means of on-field communication, whereas the Massillon head coaches, as expected, have headsets. They've got coaches up in a booth for different elevation level. NFL Academy, they are running up and down the sidelines, talking to each other about play calls, where they are on downs, communicating with players as well, but no communication system amongst the coaches. And then you add the language barrier on top of it. It's really mind-blowing.
And now they're backed up here, the inexperienced team from their own 2.5-yard line, and Seelig gives them some nice room to breathe there out to the 9. Had Luca Wolf, the tight end, in the backfield as they gave the quarterback a little more protection there, and Seelig gives them a little more room with which to work. Gain of 4, we'll call it 2nd and 6.
If you're Massillon, you just need to force NFL Academy to execute a 95-plus yard drive.
That's all.
Don't give them 15 after 15 after 15.
Got to keep their cool here. Sabo trying to get his guys lined up. Seelig gets torpedoed in the backfield. Third down. Don't want to punt out of your own end zone. Punt team is ready here. We are standing directly behind the NFL Academy bench. They got that punt team ready just in case. On a 3rd and 7 after Seelig loses a yard.
Depends on how they stack the box here. If they don't bring it up to the foul, empty.
They go empty as Seelig motions wide right, 3 to that side, 3 to the wide side as they throw back over the head of Seb Harris. As Zabo airmailed that one, and NFL Academy's going to have to punt out of its own end zone.
Yeah, that's just against a 3-man rush, and that one's all on Zabo, the quarterback. You just got to set your feet and deal. That's a simple pitch and catch. Seb Harris is wide open at the sticks, runs a little sit route. It's a short side of the field, short field throw. That's one looking back on that drive, and if they look back in this game, that could have been a conversion.
You going to come after Bobby Bridges? He gets it away. Hackenbrack underneath it. He lets it bounce and then fields it right in front of his own bench around the 43-yard line. So a short field as now Massillon's going to start in NFL Academy territory. 2:23 remaining in the third quarter. 8-point lead, 28-20. Something to be said for really having nothing to lose here. And listen, for Massillon, this does not count in their Ohio playoff standings here. Massillon against the world. Yes, literally Massillon playing against a team comprised of players from all over the world today. They thought, listen, they weren't arrogant here. They thought they would win this game, and they still may very well win this game, right? But this is a lot closer than some people had thought. Oh, huge hit here as
number 32, Peyton Mitchell.
As Peyton Mitchell, beg your pardon, gets drilled.
Mikey Ngasa bringing that heat at the cornerback position. Clean tackle. He's another guy. Look at the length that he has. About 6'2", long arms.
As Peyton Mitchell bounced up, scored a couple of touchdowns a year ago. Second down now. Slaughter looks deep, looks to the check down, and now slings over the middle. Tolles has it on the run. Far side 30, at the 20. Tolles inside the 10. Tolles down the sideline. Touchdown! Braylon Tolles, who by the time he's done may rewrite every wide receiver record in the proud history of this program dating back to the 1890s. With a long catch and run from Slaughter.
Oh, that's a nice job climbing the pocket again. You'll see a nice block from Jaquez Carter, number 7 at the end to spring him right at the end. Nice work from Tolles. Momentum swings right on back to defending state champs.
44-yard touchdown. Herrera's point after is up and good. And Massillon with 1:23 to go here in the third quarter opens up a 15-point lead.
Really nice job of a crossing route as he come all the way from the left on a dig route to the right. Perfect location so he can catch it on the move. And then see the block at the top. Watch, he turns around immediately, gets his hands on the DB, drives him all the way into the sideline. Lucky they didn't get another flag there, but this right here, understanding where the line of scrimmage is, flipping his hips, a catchable ball. And number 1, the all-timer possibly in the history of this school, Braylon Tolles, does the rest.
Braylon Tolles, big catch and run, and Massillon's been great today with the yards after the catch. Tolles has 7 for 94. His teammate Ricardo Wells 6 for 102. And Slaughter now has thrown for 350 yards and 3 scores.
He's a baller, man. I mean, with all the emotion, all the ebbs and flows of this game, he has remained steady. He has been so steady in this ball game, in his location, in his decision-making, when to check it down. We got another quarter to play here, but this guy has gone off.
1:23 left in the third. Hendricks to kick off. Seca and Seelig to return for NFL Academy. Short kick. It's going to be Teets, the tight end, who fields of a 22. Teets, pretty good athlete here. He's going to run it out across the 30, just shy of the 35. Setup shot. Here's the quarterback comparison for you. Slaughter, 33 attempts, 330 yards.
What I love about it's not just dramatic chunk plays in terms of the distance the ball has traveled. It's getting to the right athlete, to the right back, to the right tight end, to the right wideout, and letting them do the work. And that's the job of the point guard, the guy whose job is to be a true distributor of the rock. Jalen Slaughter has been exactly that.
Exactly. Back as the starter here as a senior for the defending state champion. Got his job back, and he's showing he's not giving it up this time. Here's Seelig, hit the backfield and brought down Williams. Jaden Williams, good tackle there at 35.
Critical drive right here for NFL Academy. They've been in the situation before when it comes to this up-tempo offense. I just try to find ways to get number 10, Seb Harris, the rock.
Give it to Seelig this time. Seelig with some room over the left side. 38.
Seelig on the carry for the NFL
It's a nice little strategy. You can try to spread the field, formation as wide as possible, see if Seelig can squirt his way through, create another explosive.
You see Williams, number 9, 45. Michael Wright as we pull it out wide there, left of the screen. The nose tackle, the fire plug in the middle of this defense. His coach, Nate Moore, says he thinks he's the best player in the state of Ohio. Harris, the man you mentioned, in motion. Zabo, ball knocked down to the line, and it's 4th down.
Pass is broken up.
Marcus Garner, nice job by him making up for that personal foul a couple drives ago. Just knowing when to climb, time it. Nice job. He and Michael Wright playing on the defensive line together. Wright kicks down to that end position in their 3-man front. He's done a nice job.
Zabo not the tallest quarterback either, and that one knocked down to the line. Bridges, ball partially deflected by McConnell, block punt. Massillon's got it to 35. Picked up by Lennox.
By number 3, Vito.
The special teams step up here for the Massillon Tigers.
It felt like they were due, right? It's been a couple poor snaps. You look at the length of the 6'3", McConnell, right side of your screen, and that's a little bit on the punter too. You got to punt from the integrity of the pocket. Snap takes you a little bit wide. You always want to try to find your way back to where the apex of the pocket is created, and that was an easy one for McConnell.
Yeah, absolutely here. So Jalen Slaughter walking out with 10 seconds left. Slaughter's thrown 3 touchdowns on the day as as Massillon regains its composure here and has a 15-point lead. Little flip. Here's Tolles on the end around. Tolles with room to run. 30. Tolles lowers his shoulder and gets cut down to the 26-yard line. And that is how the third quarter will end, with Massillon holding a 2-score lead, 35-20 over NFL Academy. Great day for a football showcase. The third annual NFL Kickoff Classic. Fourth quarter coming up. Jalen Slaughter getting dragged down from behind, throws incomplete to the sideline, and that is how we open up the fourth quarter here, with Massillon leading NFL Academy. Peyton Mitchell, the intended receiver, the running back, in there on first down. 35-20. That was second down, I beg your pardon, and now it brings up 3rd and 1. This after a block punt. We change sides of the field here. Massillon up 15. The team from outside of London, NFL Academy. Players from 12 different countries and territories, many of whom are playing only their second ever organized tackle football game. Hard to believe. Gamble back into the game. Instead, Slaughter throws sidelines and over the head of Tolles. He went for it all on 3rd and short, and it's 4th down.
I like that. It's 4-down territory. You know you got 2 downs to get a yard. Press man coverage. That might be the only throw of the day that Jalen Slaughter missed on, because he had a shot for another touchdown.
He did. Shown great touch, great accuracy downfield, as Malone, the wide receiver, checks in, and Mitchell, the running back, goes to the sideline. 4th and short, 4th and 1. Coach Nate Malone's going to keep his offense on the field with Gamble. Jameer Gamble had 2 touchdowns earlier in the backfield. Hard count's going to get Academy to jump, and there's a 1st down.
And that's
dead ball, encroachment, defense, 5-yard penalty, results in a 1st down.
Second one of the day that's happened against this defensive front on the clap.
And Academy's used that as well. Mikey Szabo's been able to pull Massillon off sides.
Yep. And it's just hard, you know, as the game goes on, you're tired, it's early on in the season.
Hard count, got him to jump again, no flag this time.
You're that close to the ball, just eyes on the ball.
Give to Gamble. 2 touchdowns early. Gamble, nice run here.
You know, his style, it's a dramatic comparison, but I'm going to say it because we're in Oregon.
Yeah.
A little bit of a former back, Kenyon Barner, for the Ducks. So you just see his patience. Like, it's high school. I'm not saying he's going to go on and be a Heisman finalist, but I do think there's something to the patience he has at the line of scrimmage. They're so well coached here. I think that just stands out so often.
These uniforms look more Oregon State than Oregon, but I see the comparison certainly, as Gamble gets another carry over the right side. Yeah, you see it, and there's a lot of talent on this field here. Not only, obviously, as Gamble is slow to get up. Not only on Massillon, look, this is a state power here. Many of these young men are going to go on to play at the next level, but on the academy side as well. They got a lot of athletes on the academy side. They just don't know the game yet, but they are showing their fast studies, and credit to head coach Steve Hagan for coaching these guys up. Taylor, what do you have?
As the game has gone on, guys, a lot of cramping on both sidelines to the point that trainers are spread kind of thin. Teammates are helping each other stretch their legs down here on the sideline. Keep in mind, it's early in season. Obviously, NFL Academies is a different story, but even for Massillon, early in season, we see it across all levels of football. That endurance, it's a slow build at times.
Absolutely. Taylor, great point. It's 69. It's kind of mild here. There had been, and we're all looking at the forecast, maybe a chance of rain. The rain has stayed away. It's simply overcast. Locally here, it is 6:04 in the evening as we see this great drone shot. But back home in London, it is 2 in the morning. So if you're watching us, thank you for staying up late here. But these guys flew in. They went London to Seattle 2 days ago. Visited the Seahawks, got on a bus. I asked Coach, he said a lot of them slept on the bus, as well they should. They drove down from Portland, rather Seattle to Portland. They had their walkthrough yesterday, all kinds of stimulus here. Meetings with NFL legends and visiting and touring the Nike campus, going to the company store here and loading up on gear to bring home to friends and family in the UK or wherever it is their families call home. These guys are understandably exhausted.
Yeah, they are, and they're understandably so excited and enthralled with the opportunity. You were talking earlier about the NFL Academy. Just look at the history, right? They started in 2019. We talked about it at the top of the show. 40 players from the Academy have gone on to play college football in the U.S. 20 of them playing at the highest level, which is Power 4 football. Duke, North Carolina, Wake Forest, and others. Like, it's just amazing to watch this thing come to life here on the Nike campus.
Absolutely. We saw Campbell go to the sideline here, an update on him if and when we get it. Peyton Mitchell, 32, is into the game. He is now the running back as Slaughter on 3rd and 1 will work from under center, push forward, get the first down, but there is a flag down on the play. Now a second late flag as well gets thrown.
Yeah, they called a flag earlier in the game and blocking on the back on the offensive line when they had the ball. Like, I wonder where that flag came from, if that's what is going to be the call here. And the late one, you often get personal fouls there, so they've got to navigate this administration here.
10:48 remaining in this one. 12-minute quarters. Massillon head coach Nate Moore talking to his quarterback, Michael Wright. The young man to his right wearing 45, the defensive tackle.
Aiding the runner at 32 on the offense. That's a 5-yard penalty. Dead ball, personal foul number 61 on the defense. I'm sorry, correction. On the offense. That player has been disqualified.
Wow. Nolan Davenport, the offensive tackle, has been ejected. They call Peyton Mitchell. Remember the push. They call Peyton Mitchell for pushing his quarterback, 32. Call it a Peyton push here. Slaughter looked as if he had the first down. Look for 61. Right there he is, bottom of the pile. Giving him the business.
And he's on his way to Wisconsin. Easily the most high-profile player in this game in Davenport.
6'6", 290-pound senior. Nolan Davenport, committed to Wisconsin, has been ejected from this game.
Yeah, nothing to smile about when you get ejected from a game. Frustrating for everybody, but there has clearly been, what's that, penalty 15, I believe, on this team now.
And that is going to back Massillon up again. It's going to be 3rd down, and they're going to back up again. 3rd and 21. Slaughter, here comes the pressure, steps up, eyes downfield, fires to the outside, and Tolles cannot bring it in on the sideline. 4th down now for Massillon. And Slaughter's pointing and says, I want to go for it. Coach says no.
Yeah, the right decision. Try to pin NFL Academy back as far as they can. But again, like what? And here's another flag.
And another flag on the sideline. Another flag right in front of Coach Moore on the sideline.
And I think it's going to be on the staff. You saw a couple coaches out on the field.
Dead ball. Sideline warning. Massillon High School.
Back him up again.
Just a warning on that one. So
just a warning.
You usually get a warning, and then the second time is the penalty.
And you heard somebody here from the NFL Academy sideline saying eject their coach. Don't know if that's going to happen here. A warning, but Hackenbrack is on the punt. Hackenbrack gets it away, angling for the corner. It's going to roll into the end zone. 10:04 to go. Massillon trying to keep its cool and its lead, 35-20. The NFL season right around the corner. NFL Network is ready. Rich Eisen, Steve Mariucci, and Pro Football Hall of Famer Kurt Warner leading the cast in a 2-hour NFL Game Day season preview presented by Lowe's. It's coming up Tuesday, September 3rd, 8 p.m. Eastern, only on NFL Network and streaming on NFL Plus. Here, we're at the Nike World Headquarters. Massillon from Ohio leading NFL Academy, a group of young men from 12 different countries and territories based in the UK. And wide open, it's Seelig. It's a foot race, 0-0-0. Lemon tracks down Seelig inside the 10.
What a play call. You'll see the tempo here, but he runs right up the chute. Nobody covering him. Huge play, foot race. Awesome tackle from Lemon, but watch this, he just runs like he's in pass pro, layers the ball from the QB for an explosive play.
Eustace Seelig, who already has 2 touchdowns, with another explosive, and Lemon saved the touchdown on a 70-yard play.
Tell you what, he did a really nice job on the play design. How about the throw from Zabo? See how he just sneaks in there? Nice job. Linebacker never sees him, and then away he goes. But watch at the very end. He's getting tackled. He peeks a little to his right. Does a nice job there because the ball could have easily gotten knocked out from the other defender running down Dalen Pringle.
166 yards from scrimmage and 2 touchdowns for Eustace Seelig. Born in Boulder, Colorado, grew up in Germany.
You know, sometimes there's just a question, right, that you throw out often when you're growing up and you're playing in the backyard or you're playing on the playground. You say, can you just play?
Yeah.
Can you play,
He
bro?
can play.
He can play. He could play. Like, put on the tape, he could play. I get he might not be prototypical size at 5'8", but he's prototypical talent. And I think he's going to have made a lot of noise today for all the college coaches that we know are watching this game, scouting the opponent. They'll also be scouting the NFL Academy.
And listen, he wasn't a surprise. Massillon knew he was the guy to stop coming in here. We talked to the coaches. They knew it. Everyone knew it. He is still put on a show. Zabo picked off. Picked off by Williams. No, it's Lemon running to the far sideline. Lemon, who saved the touchdown, saves Massillon's day here with the interception near the goal line. Lennox Lemon, 6'1", 175. Used that height, picked off Zabo, and after the big play by Seelig, Lemon drives on that ball and takes it back.
Well, I hate to bring up a memory that everybody in the Pacific Northwest doesn't love, but that had a little Malcolm Butler vibes.
Yeah.
He just sat on it and drove on it, saw it the whole time, playing that nickel slot defender role, watched Seb Harris, who's had quite a day. It's been a fun battle between those two. He drove on it and didn't stop. Pick. Beautiful play from one of the top corners in the state of Ohio.
Some Mac teams maybe after watching this today. phone might be ringing even more, as he's going to bring back to the 24-yard line, and Slaughter, who's well over 300 yards passing of the day, is going to go back to work. Slaughter hands to Mitchell, running hard across the 30 as the clock is ticking down now. 9:20 remaining. Massillon defense makes a stand here as NFL Academy was threatened to make this a one-score game again. Very similar to last week when they lost to a team, Edgewater from Florida. Kept trying to pull away. NFL Academy would not let them pull away. Ended up a one-score game. They gave up 51, but they hung with them the entire time.
And that's been the story today from 14-0. They come on back and tie it. But they've been chasing those points, and got to give Massillon credit. They have made plays when they needed to.
Here's Malone behind a Carter block. Good job by this Academy defense flowing the football there. Cannot question their hustle. They're going to give Malone the 35-yard line, and that should be enough for a first down. It is.
The challenge here right now for the NFL Academy is that the MVP of the game, which is, in my eyes at least, the quarterback Jalen Slaughter, he does not turn the ball over. Right? When you look at the way he's continually made decisions today, he's been dramatically efficient for the most part. Hasn't missed on much. So we'll see what happens here if they try to just bleed the clock, continue to run the football, or if they put it in the hands of QB1.
NFL Academy 3 timeouts, 1 here for Massillon with a flag thrown. And Massillon intends to keep it on the ground and try to run that clock, not give Eustace Seelick the ball back.
Number 9 is Yoma Kulinowski.
Huge part of this game, though. All the flags called against Massillon.
Huge.
Huge.
Illegal shift, number 1 on the offense. 5-yard penalty, replay, 3rd down, or 1st down.
So they get tolls for the illegal shift, the wide receiver.
Look, when you call games, you're coaching games, there's some penalties that are naturally going to happen. You're going to get a couple PIs. You're going to get a false start here, and you might get an offsides. There has been a large percentage of penalties that are unforced errors by this team. If they don't have the majority of the unforced errors, this is a wrap. They win this game by a lot.
Absolutely. Yep. Slaughter over the middle, caught by Wells, who's over 100 yards receiving, and here he's over the 40-yard line. For Wells, it's his 7th catch of the day.
Strempel with the tackle for
Strempel with the tackle, and now Wells is going to limp to the sideline.
Bring him 2nd down and 4 for the
8 minutes remaining. Nike World Headquarters, Ronaldo Field here. Named after one of the greatest footballers of all time, soccer players of all time. Xavier Owens is the back. Slaughter out of a sack and fires to Tolles. I'll tell you what, Jalen Slaughter,
number 1, Braylon Tolles.
kid can move. He could avoid sacks.
First down.
Yeah, he is. I mean, just a feel for the game. Matty Kruger coming off the edge. Comps himself, at least his long hair, to Clay Matthews, and he just felt it and just climbed, slid out of the pocket, and one of the best targets in the history of this program. Braylon Tolles just has a feel. Scramble drill, aware of it, work your way to the sideline. Okay, first down.
Yeah, so accurate on the run as well. We got number 30, Braylon Gamble, checked into the game, slotted right, wearing number 30 at wide receiver. He's going to run the clear out, and Tolles is going to catch it on the sideline here on 1st down. As Massillon tries to bleed the clock, 7:36 to go. Clock stops as he's out of bounds at the 39.
Right now, if I'm NFL Academy, you've got to try to change up your defense just a little bit. Just knowing time and score, you got an opportunity for a corner pressure from the boundary, something that Slaughter hasn't seen thus far today. See if you can force him into an error.
Maybe Matty Kruger, number 9, off the edge there with his hand down. Bottom of the screen. They give to Owens, and it's Kruger who wraps him up immediately. Kruger, who learned to love football by watching YouTube clips. I asked him, talked to him yesterday, what were you watching? Were you watching like Randy Moss or Tom Brady? He said, no, I was watching, he said with his German accent, a brutal hits compilation.
Yeah. And he just started playing at 16.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just incredible these stories and really the duality. We've referenced it a few times today, but on one sideline with the team who's up, they have been born and bred to play at this school, represent this community, one of the great public institutions in all of high school sports, specifically football. Then the other one, just a couple years old.
Yeah. Here comes the blitz. Again, he's out of it, but over the head of Lennox. Man, Slaughter is a magician back there. His coach compared him to Vince Young when he was in 7th grade. He's able to avoid it, but he couldn't hit Lennox out of the backfield, and it's 4th down.
And that's the defensive stop they needed. They bring a little pressure from the boundary, and Slaughter never resets his feet. He's got a shot to get it to his outlet in Lennox. Never reset his feet, airmailed a little bit, and NFL Academy, you're thinking this might be over. They've got life, and on this drive, they got to have answers.
It was Khalifa with the pressure. Slaughter avoided the sack, but it's punt time. Secca back to return, calling for the fair catch, and he will field cleanly near the 10. 6:39 to go. NFL Academy hanging around. We are not done. 35-20. We've been talking about all these cool events. This was great last night as well. That's Scott Henson here from Nike, speaking to 4 teams here, the 2 girls flag teams and these 2 boys high school teams, and great NFL legends out on the stage as well. Keyshawn Johnson and the Hall of Famer Marshall Faulk and TJ Hushman-Zada were there. Giving advice both on and off the field. Pick the off the field advice, the great stuff. And then plus, these kids got some great kicks. And you know who also got great kicks? Customized kicks. Taylor, those are clean. I mean, they're great. I mean, they were clean earlier before they customized them.
You're getting the full experience when you come to Nike along with these great games. All the student athletes had a chance to customize Nikes, and Matt James and Nike were kind enough to give me some fresh kicks of my own, and truly I've never been cooler, guys.
They look great. And obviously you're wearing green today, accessorized,
it
well
just
done.
Worked, you know?
It worked. As Eustace Seelig has been working as well. He breaks free again out of a Lennox tackle. And with Lennox on his back, he gets across the 25-yard line here. He's running as if he's got some fresh kicks on, as Seelig's been the one-man band here. A great couple of days here on the Nike campus. Give it to Seelig again. Why not? A couple of yards up the middle there. McConnell with the tackle.
It was an incredible night, and love the swag and the design and just the memory all these players are going to take home.
Exactly. Zabo looks deep. Zabo throws it over the head of Wolf.
And that's a miss. That was their shot. That was a shot. Right? They get the first down. They go hurry up. They go double move, a slant and go, and had a shot to find
Luca Wolf,
Luca Wolf,
former basketball player, has competed on the international stage as a basketball player as a teenager. Played in the States, in Maryland and Baltimore, decided that wasn't for him, went home, wanted to try football, and here he is back in the States, playing for NFL Academy. Zabo wants a flag. Massillon jumped off sides. No flag. Calls for it. Gets it. Martin with the catch. brought down immediately.
Really nice tackle there.
Williams,
Yeah.
Williams, the linebacker.
Captain, leader for this defense. He's been pretty steady all game long. And that's an opportunity also when you're a quarterback. You get that defensive jump. The center has to know to snap it. That's when you get the free play. And a missed opportunity there for NFL Academy on offense.
Absolutely. And
a little surprised they're going to punt it here.
they're going to punt it away. 4th and 7. Clock winding down towards 5 minutes to go. Bobby Bridges is the backup quarterback. Keep that in mind. Just saying. As Pringle and Hackenbrack back to return, it's going to be Pringle, and he'll let it bounce, and it goes out of bounds. Lands near the 37-yard line. So interesting decision there from Steve Hagan. I said there are 4 teams. There's actually a 5th team here as well. So we can see there in the end zone. Those are the young men from the Red Lake Warriors. Watched a movie about them last night. Honestly, there weren't many dry eyes in the house afterwards, Yogi. These young men, Native American reservation in Minnesota. They've been hosted by the Vikings. They have not won a game. Not these young men, but collectively, the Red Lake Warriors have not won a game in 20 years. They are a story of perseverance here, and it's an inspiring story to hear it as well.
Yeah, it was beautiful to get to know that film. I'd recommend everybody to watch it, but also hear from their head coach, Coach Nolan, who had to go through his own set of adversity as he lost his son a few years ago, and he just continues to coach this school, this team in football, supports it in basketball, and it's just a beautiful community that is going to find their way to a victory. I know Nike has such great support for them. Can't wait to see them get victorious this fall.
Here's the give to Owens as we are back with Massillon with the football, and Owens is going to carry it across the 45-yard line, the brother of a quarterback, DeJuan Owens, who helped bring Massillon a title a year ago.
You know what's interesting about, you reference Coach Nolan and his story and the story of the Red Lake Warriors. I think all the coaches that have been here, whether it's the girls flag or in this game and Nate Moore, Steve Hagan, look, the job, of course, is you want to put your players in position to make plays and win games. But at this level, you're also teaching foundational principles.
Yeah.
That when your career is over, and a lot of these careers are going to end after this coming fall, the lessons you learn in high school are going to shape you into the partner, the professional, the sibling, the grandfather, all the things. You're going to carry these with you. That is really, truly the joy of football. It's the ultimate team sport. And how great is it that the ultimate team sport is now around the world, literally with NFL Academy. 12 players on this roster today represent, or excuse me, 12 countries are represented and/or territories by the players on this field today. You look at the girls flag team from South Anchorage, Alaska, coming down here, being an Olympic sport in LA in 28. Man, I mean, it's a beautiful representation of the sport we love.
Yeah, here to that, and I've been impressed with all 5 coaches as we've had a chance to meet and talk with all 5. And it's not just 12 countries and territories for NFL Academy. It's 19 if you include the young men who did not make the trip for, a variety of reasons.
Xavier Owens on the carry
here across the 45 at a time. About the clock's going to stop at 3:48. 19 countries and territories with an NFL Academy set to open up a second one in Australia down under in the coming months. So the game is only growing, whether it is with NFL Academy or with girls flag football, which is now played worldwide by an estimated 20 million girls.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
It's been absolutely beautiful. And big props to everybody who contributed to the growth of this beautiful game.
Absolutely. 3:48 remaining, fourth quarter. Massillon over NFL Academy, 35-20. If I told you that Jalen Slaughter would throw for 387 yards and 3 touchdowns, you'd probably think that Massillon would run away with this game. It's 35-20, fourth quarter. Massillon comfortably leading now with time winding down. But Yogi, this kid's been impressive.
He has been a baller, especially after the opening 2 drives where they ran the football up and down the field, and you're thinking, okay, They're going to win on the ground, be efficient through the air. But this young man has been an absolute star. And what's so great about it, again, we just got done talking about the lessons learned from the game.
Yeah.
Like the game gives you adversity. In this era of football, do you choose to meet it or do you want to run from it? Jalen Slaughter met it last year. Told no longer the starting quarterback at a premier school. That is not easy to deal with at a premier school or at a school that very few people know about. It is a challenge, especially at that position. He just went back to work. He continued to instill the principles that he has learned from his head coach in Nate Moore, and now look at what he's done in the open.
Absolutely. He has led his team to a 15-point lead as Lennox has that carry around left side. And you know, Mylon Lennox was one of the young men, and I saw him earlier today, who raised his hand and asked a question about adversity last night. Asked Marshall Falk, hey, what do you do when you do have doubt? Speaking of Marshall before the game, it's like, hey, we all have it. Even Hall of Famers, you have it. A, you work harder, but B, you know that that work will help erase that doubt. Hey, work hard, that's an easy thing to say. But Marshall's message was that work, if you know you're prepared, will erase the doubt when you step on the field. 3rd and 5. And here's Lennox. No doubt he's getting a first down. Across the 40, across the 30, and a first down here for Massillon. And the Tigers start to feel it now. 3:31 remaining, a 15-point lead. And a nice run here by Mylon Lennox, the senior running back who had 6 touchdowns a year ago, and a nice gain here.
Finish punctuation mark. Nice work by this offensive line throughout this ball game too. I think as you walk around Nike's campus, we all saw, you lived it in the Olympics, big campaign as you see a player down around winning. There's a huge sign that says winning isn't for everyone. And what I loved about hearing from those legends last night, or anybody who's really been special within team or individual sport, is yes, we want to quote unquote win, but there's also the small micro wins, showing up for practice.
Yeah.
Making sure you watch film, picking up a teammate, making the right decision for yourself or a teammate off the field. And I think, you know, hearing from Matt James and Scott Henson, who are leading this outfit, and talking to the head coaches and the members of the prestigious Nike football family, I love that that message is coming through. And I think it's being received for the players. Like, yes, it's nice to be on the good end of the scoreboard here, but what a win for the NFL Academy today on this grand stage. In so many ways, they'll just unveil themselves over the course of the next few months.
Silas Sabanda there, the NFL Academy DB, slow to get up. He goes to the sideline. It's funny, I use the phrase moral victory. We're all there talking to Mikey Szabo and to Eustace Seelig yesterday, and Coach Steve Hagan jumped in. They don't know what that means. Don't translate. Don't translate what that means, as Lennox, who got 20 on that last one, gets ripped down by Khalifa near the line of scrimmage. Seelig, obviously, growing up in the States, or at least being born in the States, speaking better English, I joked earlier, than me today. He knew what moral victory was. But you could see Seelig talking in the rain after they lost to Edgewater last week, like, hey, like, we had this, right? Like, we started slowly. We know we're good enough to hang. This is not a moral victory here at all today, as we see the one-man wrecking crew and running back for NFL Academy there, Eustace Seelig. But you know what? It is a step. They hung. They've got athletes. They got to learn. But you could see the learning. You could see the light go on as Slaughter, maybe a busted play, is going to throw it away and get ripped out. Turns it to hand it off. Nobody there. They want a flag. They want a roughing on the sideline. And there are 2 flags now down to the right near the line of scrimmage, but not in the backfield.
It's the offensive line. Downfield.
Seen a couple of these.
Yeah, I mean, more than see it on screens at the collegiate level, but we've seen it here on a few scrambles.
Understandable on a busted play. What looked like a busted play here.
Ineligible man downfield on the offense. That penalty decline results in the play as a 3rd down.
You know, I think as we come towards the close of this one, from the NFL Academy side, I think when college scouts watch this game, you've got to watch it with a different eye. You're not looking at, say, okay, can a player come in and play for us today? You're looking at development, right? You're looking at a linebacker. You're looking at a corner. You're looking at a safety. Like, I'll tell you what, Khalifa has stood out. Raul Khalifa has stood out to me today. I've seen guys like that after 3 years start at places like Utah and Oregon State. We'll see how they get evaluated.
Here's Slaughter throwing end zone. McConnell cannot bring it down. The tight end and linebacker had his hands on it near the goal line. Coverage by Batanga Kalyada.
Well, right, that's winning right there. Both of the guys competing for the ball. We just got to finish that thread. I do think NFL Academy, you're looking at players and you're saying, okay, look at their size. Look at their length. Look at their first step. Okay, we got to teach them the game. And college football is going under a transformation at the highest of levels. But I think there's going to be coaches that look at this tape today and say, okay, there's a couple guys that can make a couple jumps for us. Where do we put our eyes on? Different players. We've seen already a variety of players find their way into major college football from the academy. I don't think it's slowing down. And what's really cool that our audience may not know is that all these players that come from one of these specific countries, they have a professional team.
Yeah.
And you talk to them and say, where do you want to play after college? They're like, I want to come back and play in the European League of Football for my home squad. I want to represent. And those places, they sell out. Some have 20, 30,000 fans at a game. So the game will continue to grow and continue to find ways where these players will find home.
And Taylor, this is a huge step not only in the game's growth, but these players' growth here these last few days.
And it's been a proven method. I actually spoke with Vanderbilt defensive end Darren Agu this week. He's an NFL Academy veteran. He attended in 2019, and I asked him, you play in the SEC. How did the NFL Academy help prepare you? He said, truthfully, it was a shock to my body when I started because training and weightlifting weren't part of my upbringing until I got to the academy. But he said, I got to this level in the States playing in the SEC, and I didn't feel like I was behind. And I can honestly say I would not have acclimated as easily without the foundation the academy gave me.
That's great. And you know, as Taylor, all these young men kept saying D1. I want to play in D1. I don't know how you say transfer portal in Germany. In German, I beg your pardon. But if you don't start D1, you could always move up. As Slaughter on 4th down throws incomplete, intended for tolls, and it's a turnover on downs. As we see in college football today, it is not where you start, it is where you finish and how you finish, because you have the opportunity to move up. And Eustace Seelig has an opportunity to, honestly, Yogi play wherever he wants. And maybe that's saying a bit too much, but this kid's put on a show today.
Yeah, he has. And I'll tell you what, take this clip, brother, and put it on your IG, because that's the way recruiting works these days. And these are all his highlights from the game, and there have been plenty of them. And every college coach wants to see you against premier high school talent at this level. They're seeing as premier as it gets with the Massillon Tigers.
As Zabo throws, and there's a big hit. Secca gets drilled. And you could feel that one from here as he was hit by Dylan Pringle, the DB.
Pringle's parents made the trip. Watch his clean hit. Gotta be a little careful at the end there, but nice job by him.
8-2, Zabo on the run. Zabo stumbles forward across the 35. We're under 2 minutes to go now, 4th quarter. Massillon from Ohio, the legendary program, on top of NFL Academy, 35-20. The Massillon Tigers ended a 53-year drought last year and won their first state championships at Harris the Cash there since the current playoff format was born in the state of Ohio. Obviously, you circle McKinley. Obviously, you circle all those legendary Ohio programs. When you look at the schedule every year, this is one of Massillon's tougher schedules for head coach Nate Moore, coming off a perfect season a year ago in a defensive battle in Canton for the championship. Zabo with a deep shot. Secca, the intended receiver. Got a lot of clutching and grabbing down there, but no flag from Pringle on the coverage. I think many on the Massillon sideline thought, you know, maybe they emptied the bench in the 4th quarter here today. They didn't say that specifically, but they know they have the talented, tested team. This has been a fight, but this is something, from Massillon's perspective, to take home and build on.
Oh yeah, there's definitely some holes. I think the number one thing you jump to is the penalties, just unacceptable. And I know that the standard there is so high. That's where I think they'll really go to work. If they can clean that up, this team has a chance to do what they've done in history, which is win a lot.
They do win a lot. Williams with the sack, and now another late flag. Michael Wright was lobbying the officials on something, having an argument, and the flag was thrown. So yes, it is a victory, but a frustrating day nonetheless for Massillon. And Yogi, you mentioned discipline an issue here, and another flag thrown. For all intents and purposes, this game is over here. Listen, can NFL Academy take another deep shot? Onside kick it? Sure, maybe. It's never over until it's over. Sorry for the cliche, but these penalties.
Dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 45 of the defense. 15-yard penalty, third down. Timeout, Academy.
Yeah, you nailed it. I mean, you look at Nolan Davenport, disqualified from the game, their most notable player going to Wisconsin. Michael Wright just gets a personal foul.
Your most decorated player.
Most decorated player, Youngstown State commit. I mean, look, you can complain about officiating all day long if you want, but at the end of the day, Dan Lanning says it all the time. He's right down the road here at Oregon. He says, you got to take your medicine, right? You got to take the medicine after you watch the tape. You cannot argue upwards of nearly 20 penalties on the day for this team. I mean, that will get you beat when you get on back home and start playing the schedule that's laid out in front of the Massillon Tigers.
17 for 154. I mean, the idea that you're winning a game with 17 penalties, that's a headline in and of itself.
Yeah, that's going to be the subject of Buckeye Vinny's video on YouTube. I mean, and that's the thing with this team. They get so much attention. I mean, we talked about it in the open. It is really Friday Night Lights. It is Varsity Blues. Like, that is the vibe. And you're talking about 16,000 people selling out your stadium in home games. So you got to navigate that. So I'll be so curious. We'll track this team all year. Nate Moore in his 10th year as the head coach.
Pass interference on the offense, number 81. 15-yard penalty, third down.
No PI on Luka Wolf.
But for the head coach, Nate Moore, he's experienced. He's going to tell his guys, I'd imagine, very sternly, very crisply, very cleanly. Part of this game was not acceptable if we want to defend our championship. And I love that what he said about coaching the player and coaching the kid. And I think this is a great lesson. Like, this is a team that was as high as anybody in the world of high school football a year ago. Came back down to earth a little bit with the 17 penalties. They've got something to work on, and hopefully they can have another special season.
Now on 3rd and long, I'll give a silver lining here. Ball over the middle. That one's caught by Panas. And he's going to get out here midfield. It's going to be 4th and manageable now, 4th and around 4. The last two winners of this game, DeSoto from Texas, Bishop Gorman from Nevada, from Vegas, have gone on to win state championships. Just saying.
Good year.
Just saying. Red note from research.
Hey, Nike knows how to pick the teams now. Matt James and company, they do a nice job.
Yeah, tip of the cap here to Matt James and everyone at Nike for putting on a great couple of days. Here's Seelig, pass broken up. Nice play by Lemon, and there's a late flag in the backfield, and a Massillon Tiger down as well.
I'll tell you what, if there's a defensive player of this game, Lennox Lemon is in that conversation.
Absolutely. Saved the touchdown. Big hit there for the turnover on downs.
And bounced back from getting beat for an early touchdown.
And now a Massillon player down to the 45, and Coach Moore is running out. 33 seconds on the clock. Yeah, hate to see injuries here. Sorry, Yogi.
Yeah, well, now you just hope that everybody gets out okay.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
That's the biggest part of this game. Haven't seen any dramatic injuries. You know, we've seen some cramping, as Taylor referenced earlier. A couple little things that happened over the course of the game. And this has been a very physical game. I mean, you watch these teams practice, you watch them fly around. We've had a couple soundful hits throughout this game. And both of these teams, they have left it on the grass, man.
Absolutely. And the same can be said as well for the girls' flag game earlier. Spirited game, 13-0 win for South Anchorage. The Wolverines representing the state of Alaska, 13-0 over the De La Salle Cavaliers, a private Catholic high school from New Orleans. So those young ladies hung around to watch this game as well, and love the camaraderie where we had these two teams here early to watch that flag game. As you know, we say football is family here, football is community truly in all of these hometowns for all 4 of these teams. As Lennox, good to see, is up, and he's going to get helped off and limp to the sideline. But there is a flag, so let's sort that out after what appeared to be a turnover on downs. He's got the OHIO going.
Love it. Such pride in that state for their football. It's really incredible.
Lennox going to the sideline, still waiting on that call. 33 ticks left.
Dead ball, personal foul, number 45, 15 yards, first down.
All right.
So the Tigers will take over.
Gotcha. 33 seconds remaining here. Massillon on top of NFL Academy, 35 to 20.
Just short of their own 37-yard line.
And now Massillon can take a knee, and Massillon can celebrate here a championship. We're going to have a trophy presentation coming up, a championship at least here for today for the NFL and Nike Kickoff Classic here. The Nike Kickoff Classic in Beaverton, Oregon. Jalen Slaughter, what a great afternoon for the quarterback, the lefty, the senior. A story of perseverance.
Tigers will take a knee.
Slaughter throws for 387 yards and 3 touchdowns. And it was not always pretty, Yogi, but in the end, it's a victory.
And in week 1 of the season, in a very foreign environment in terms of none of these teams have ever played here, you gotta say, hey, we got out of here with a win. A lot of lessons learned. Hopefully, Massillon got out healthy and they can head on home. And I think in addition, the country has probably gained a lot of respect for what's going on at NFL Academy under Steve Hagan and this entire organization with Chris Durham and company leading the way. This game continues to grow. The talent continues to evolve. How about what Nike did right here in football heaven with all 4 teams ended up playing today?
Absolutely. As we see in the handshake line, and we see these two teams, Massillon against the world, beating a team from all over the world. 35-20 is the final score. Your Nike Kickoff Classic. Handed out a trophy after this. A win for Massillon here, the Nike Kickoff Classic over NFL Academy. Time for the trophy presentation. Taylor Davis, take it away.
Thank you, Andrew. Well, first and foremost, let's shout out all the incredible student athletes that participated in this year's Kickoff Classic, from the girls flag football earlier today to these two incredible teams on the field with me now. What a stellar group that we got to witness. Round of applause. Thank you so much to Matt James and Nike for putting on another incredible event this year. It just keeps getting better and better. Also, shout out to the NFL Academy for a fantastic week here in Oregon. Enjoyed every bit of today's competition. But now for the main event, this beautiful trophy is going home with Nate Moore and the Massillon Tigers. Congratulations.
Nike Kickoff Classic, the champions this year, the Massillon Tigers. Again, not pretty, but victory still tastes sweet at the end, holding up that trophy and ready to hop back on a plane, Yogi Roth, and go back to Ohio and start a very, very difficult high school football season in Stark County outside of Canton. And a hats off, as well, as Taylor said, to NFL Academy, coming here all the way from London and hanging with a much more experienced team.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. This Massillon program been around since 1891. A lot of trophies in that trophy case. None looking like the one the head coach and the team are celebrating around right now. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't pretty, but boy, was it competitive on the grandest of stages in high school football, from a team represented by 19 countries and territories to a team that represents an entire community and a state. Man, it was an honor. Had a blast.
Absolutely. And we had a lot of fun here. Thanks to everyone at Nike for putting on a great week with 2 games here today, girls flag and this high school finale as well, with Massillon getting out of here with a victory over NFL Academy. For Taylor Davis down on the field, for Yogi Roth, for producer Andrea Crawford as well, my name is Andrew Siciliano. So long from Nike World Headquarters.